I will put a little notice out there. Okay, so first and foremost, the house, if you hadn't seen it, the house rule that is being established, that is in the Facebook, is if you have someone grappled, you and your allies have advantage on them, but beware, the same is true in the reverse. So that is a new house rule we got going. We'll try that out for a while. Um, the second is I am putting together a new Wednesday game. Session zero is Wednesday night. If you're all interested, feel free to show up. I think I'm going to run it as a bit of like a come one, come all. See what's happening. See if you're interested. So no obligation to show up, no payment to show up. Just gives you a chance to kind of come forward, see the people who might be interested, uh, hear what kind of campaign it's going to become, see if it's for you. Um, so yeah, I believe everyone here should have received an invite on Facebook. So up to you. But anyway, let's get to our game. Most important. All right. So let me give you guys a little recap. So in the wake of having survived a lunar dragon attack, wow, all my tabs just closed. There they are. Um, uh, yes, having just survived the aftermath of a uh, of this attack, you guys made your way to Templar, the mage moon, the second moon of Garden, and decided to maybe sit around for a little bit. It was a pretty exciting day you guys had, so sit around for a little bit. To which a couple of things happened. Um, let's see, Zalace produced a fish suit, which is essentially a survive in any environment suit from a fence, a mage fence known as Silverlong. A Professor Drake paid for the fungus that Chaplin had produced on the Retine moon, and was excited to hear of the dragon there. Ed found some an old personal ship wreck in the scrapyard and decided it was for him. And now is going to become a dad from the 60s and start like working on that every day of his life. Um, the entryway has been turned into a makeshift hangar, which still requires probably a decent amount of improvement before it's a functioning sort of entryway again. But Chaplin began working on that by creating a super patch job scaffolding bridge right over the wreck. So people have to like walk up it and then crawl between the roof and top of the bottom of the bridge and then slide off at the back. So it kind of helps, which is cool. Zalace secretly dropped Lunarbow's holy symbol of the Twilight Rider to Basan, who was perhaps reminded of better times with her old captain and the wonder of the stars, not just the power of the astral sea, but the wonder of it as well. And last but not least, Zalace and P0xi are to look for signs of Baphomet, for the Dark Lord is pleased, and he intends to see which of the two of you are the best hunter in the trials to come. And other than mentioning that you guys, as a reminder, you guys are currently on the quest of the Plague of Star Beasts. You have adopted the strange speaking druid Griffin Broadleaf and his many animal companions. You work hard to try and officially cure this plague from realm space and the Kindorei celestial whales that reside in it. That is where we picked up today. You all have just completed a long rest and find yourselves on the what is it? You find yourselves on the 19th standard day of this quest. So, what would you like to do as your ship resides here on the planet of Templar, or the moon of Templar?
Um, I'd like to check in
So,
with Broadleaf and see if I guess the thing we're going to use to cure the Kindori is ready.
yeah, I think we also need to find out where we want to head with this and how we want to distribute it. I know we've said about using the smaller fish type creatures. I can't remember the name of them.
Scabbers.
The scabbers, using them as the delivery system. So obviously we need to catch them first and see whether we can do that with them as a tester. But then do we need to go back to the rock, or do we just press on and find out where this disease is being emanated from first?
Okay. He looks at you all. Many of these questions are posed to him. He says, "Well, let me think. Whew, great many questions and all good ones indeed. Yes, spreading the cure, quite important. Um, the cure, with mine own power, is much prepared. Um, I, I recall your scaver idea, not a bad one indeed. However, a delivery system will be one that I will need to uh, produce, and then the cure should be good as long as we find enough scaver to place the cure into, and then out and off they go to find Kindorei to heal. Um, I admit, a little more complex than the tools I have available. Specialized tools indeed required, but fear not, for I have spent time to think of solutions and not just problems. There is an old, abandoned outpost of the old seafaring elves back during the attacks and the meanness in space with the not orcs. Yes, indeed. On the moon of P0xi, they used to reside there in their war camp, and they did many a study. If we were to head there, undoubtedly I'd be able to find a worthy delivery method.
Okay, so you speak of needing some extra tools. So will they all be there, or do we need to acquire some more on the way?
Oh no, the alchemy supplies provided have been most exceptional to the task. This is a little more specialized, and I do recall an old friend who did reside there might have those tools, those very tools that I need. So I don't think we'll find them here. Very specialized, nothing you'd find in a shop. Things already needed to have been built. But I believe we might find what I need there, from what I remember.
Okay.
P0xi it is then. And are we all adequately supplied, or do we need to stop at Far World for more basic necessities?
Ed says, "Listen, man, I don't know how you guys are doing, but I'm feeling a little. I got a little bit of stone cold. It's very Earth Genasi sickness. All right, so I'm gonna just like work on my rec a little bit and just like
Oh
take the
my
day off.
goodness.
So you guys can handle it. I have every faith in the party, man." And
Please
he's going to
clip that and send that to him if you can, because that was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Above the table. Brian's actually got a knack for imitating the PCs. Like he ends up doing a good job
Oh my
Thank you.
always.
goodness.
I'll see if I can cut it out.
Does
That was
he?
really good. That was spot on.
Thank you. So he, in his entirely authentic self, walks downstairs and is gonna go recover. And Laura's like, "Well, I can cure disease like immediately. I'm a paladin." Oh, okay. Well, maybe that was more of an excuse than anything.
So we'll look at Etherith and say, well, I suppose this makes you captain for the day or so. After
Oh,
you...
joy of joys. I shan't let you down. Well, Forkbeard, How are we
I-
for supplies?
Oh, we still have plenty of supplies. First mate, I guess suppose you are now. Let's see. And he'll like pull out his little notebook of supplies. He goes, "Oh no, we're doing real good. We got more than 12 days worth of food left, so we should be fine."
12 days. Okay. In that case, I suppose we'll have to rely on Celine's piloting skills to get us through the deep asteroid field on the way to P. I'm like looking like, how do I pronounce this?
I know
Piscian?
it's a word, isn't it? I'll post it
Yeah.
in the chat for everyone to see who requires the word. Um, let's call it PC. Let's call it Pison.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looks like the word peace, and English is a
Yeah.
bastard.
Pison.
So let's,
See, I would have
Yeah,
said
sure.
Psion.
all right, Pison it is.
Yeah.
There's no pronunciation over here, so Pison it is.
We'll make for Piscion then. And Celine, make sure you're extremely careful as you're passing by Retin-A. I don't want a angry dragon.
Yes, of course. Maybe we'll try and time it so. Well, actually, you're the Auror. Where's that moon at right now? Maybe it's not in the. Maybe it's not in our orbit right now.
I shall consult. And I take out the Ori.
You can make a little, survive roll or investigation check. It's your choice.
Makes 0 difference which I choose. So here we go. Investigation for a nat 20. 23.
I mean, you guys, Etherith guided you guys out expertly from the asteroid field with the Mind Flare prison. And now it seems Etherith will guide you expertly through the asteroid field deeper towards Garden, because as it was previously explained, the closer you get to the core of Garden, the more thick the asteroid field becomes. So you sort of plot a route to follow, and indeed you find that that dragon-infested moon is not quite in your path. It is on the far side of the planet for orbit's sake.
Oh, good fortune for us. We have Retin-A is, well, on a different orbital path. It's so convenient how these celestial bodies are so predictable.
I think a number of crew members smile and nod, like, yeah, we know what you're talking about, and want to look smart as well. Celine says, all right, I'll get us underway immediately if there's nothing else we need here in Templar. And Celine will, like, go to walk and the thing. Alara gives her, like, a little slap on the butt. And Celine's like, no, don't stop. Like, kind of, like, walks away. And they're like, it's playful. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad one. And she walks into the bridge, and sure enough, your ship will come aloft, and the landing gear will pull up to the sides of the ship, and you'll begin to make your way up out of the orbit through the clouds and back into the astral sea, away from the moon of Templar, which has 96 mages left on it, and will or 94 if I'm not mistaken. And you guys will begin to travel deeper towards the core of Garden to find your way to Pison, as it has been dubbed. Not to be confused with the other EV evolutions. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to give Celine advantage because you rolled so well on your Auror check at the Rith, but I'm going to have her do a flight check to see how well she navigates the asteroid field, because Pison is very close to the center of Garden. It is indeed it is the second closest moon to the core, which is it is third closest.
Third.
Yeah,
It's
third closest.
Irthad and grandchild.
Yeah.
The next ones.
Okay, here we go. She rolls incredibly well. She rolls very, very, very well. She rolls a natural 18. And I believe with her bonus would be 23, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's 23. I gotta open up her thing. But yes, that is her bonus as far as I know. So there will be minimal damage. It is getting a little too deep into the asteroid field, but there isn't going to be some damage. But it's going to be minimal. Ooh, and allow me to put you guys back in space on the map because that's fun. No.
Nice.
All right. Over the course of the next couple hours of travel, your ship is only going to undertake. Damn, you guys lucked out. You are only going to take 11 damage to the hull, which is pretty good. Pretty dang good. Okay. I am gonna say it does take a couple of hours to travel in because you can't fly at cruise speed this close to celestial bodies and such. So you will have to fly at your normal travel speed, and that will take a while. You can, because as long as you're a mile out from a moon, you can enter, or anything weighing more than a ton, you can hit cruise speed. So there will be like little stints of like almost like jumping forward between the various moons. But once you get too deep, it's just a matter of navigating the asteroid field. So my question to all of you guys, is there anything you guys would like to do as Cillian navigates you to that moon? Yes, Ethra.
Studying my books. I have a course in alchemy to complete.
A course in alchemy to complete. Incredible. I admit, I have no idea how to track the time of a ship traveling from moon to moon. All right. Here we go. Take a little look and see if. All right. Let's just do it this way. Let's make our lives a little easier here. Maybe a little. No, it's not going to be 8 hours. I'm sorry, Dice. It's not going to be 8 hours. Fine. It'll be 7 hours. The dice insisted it was 8 hours, so I will say 7 hours. I rolled 3 times and it said 8. It was the dice of personality sometimes. It'll take 7 hours to make the trip from Templar deep into where P0xi is. You guys will take a little boom, bing, bang here and there, but nothing too devastating. Yes, so Etherith, you go and do your reading. You may sit around and do 7 hours of study, if you like.
Sick. Wonderful. I'm a third of the way.
Getting closer. Chaplain.
I will get to work on minor hull repair while we're on our way.
Okay. Do you want to throw a mending on that?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and do your mending. As a reminder, that is 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier.
My spellcasting modifier, I'm guessing, is really sweet.
Wisdom.
No. Oh, it's not bad. Okay.
Wisdom modifier, yeah.
All right. So that'll be 10.
10. So as you will be landing on P0xi, you will have 1 point of damage to your hull when landing. Devastating, I know.
Almost like new.
But good job. The ship's looking a lot better. I will remind you just the aesthetic of the outside of your ship due to the many mendings it has had to undertake due to various battles. Your ship does look battle scarred. Some of the metal is sort of like warped and twisted together, showing clear signs of mendings from large hull damage, where all the metal is sort of like warped together into a single piece, which shows a clear sign of like, we took a cannonball here, we took an asteroid rock here, we scraped along the side of a ship over here. Your ship is in good repair. And hey, that might not be the worst thing. It might look kind of cool that your ship has like literal war wounds on the side of it. Excellent job, Chaplain. Is there anything else?
Oh, nope, not for me.
Not for you. Okay, fantastic. What about the rest of you? Yes, Basan.
So since the captain is and I can't really train with the droid because fire and the ship and that would be bad. So she is going to grab her inks and draw a picture of, like, in the background, Chaplin playing the game, but the focus is on Zalace as a bat, and 2 words are written down. Almost cool. When she's done with that, she's going to use her mind and the mage hand to origami fold it into a paper bat and into an origami bat. And then she's going to manipulate the bat to fly in front of him.
I love it. Go ahead and
That's a bunch of rolls, I know. I got the hours.
Yeah, let's make some checks. Okay, for the art itself, I'm gonna apologize out the gate if I keep changing the skill sometimes, forgetting what I originally said. But I think we're gonna make it, yeah, like a performance check, because this is artistic, but I will let you use dexterity if you wish instead.
Thank you, because I'm
Yep.
Dixie.
Yep. Go for it.
All right. You know what? We're gonna use fucking behave. Don's dice. Don't fuck me. Oh, you know something? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's 15 on the dice. You know something? All right. Look, after the double ones, it's been in jail.
Oh my god.
It's been in jail.
Um, all right. So my just general dex modifier would be a +5. So that's a 20. By the way, should I be tracking hours that she's working with her painter's supplies?
Sure.
Okay.
I think that would make sense. I think the original rules as written are like you need a, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna say hold off because it's a fair point. A person can practice and practice and practice all they want by themselves, but unless you have proper instruction, you know. But I think art is unique in that sense where like yeah, I'll give it to art as well because Picasso did say you have to learn the rules to learn how to break them well. So I will say hold off for now, and unless you have some kind of book who can teach you proper artistic technique or something of the like, then we will start tracking.
We'll find a book later, but for now, the raw roll was 15 +5 for dex would be 20.
20. It is, of course it is amateur art, but it is still very good. It betrays the scene. And practice does make perfect. And it is a very, very nice piece. It is very clear what you're trying to emulate and show. And the lines are, for the most part, very intentional. Maybe there's like, a little thing here and there that you're like, I'm not terribly happy about, or maybe like just the tiniest little like ink drop, like once or twice that would really take the trained eye to be like, over there, over there, over there. But it's a nice piece, and it clearly displays the art, and it's a fun little thing you made. Wonderful. And then make me a. Are you folding it with the mage hand?
Yeah, I'm using the force for that. That's part of her practice.
Got it. So make me a sleight of hand check, but with intelligence, because that is your spellcasting modifier.
Yeah. Ooh, that's even better. So 16 +2, so 18.
18. Yeah, you sort of are like, I imagine almost going like with your hands, like you're trying, like your body's instinctively like wanting to do it with your hands. And it's sort of partially therapeutic to making it all work. And but yeah, you get to like fold it over very carefully at the mage hand, and indeed you produce a bat. And you're like, "Ugh," and you send that shit over to Zalace. So Zalace, you're just like, whatever you're doing, I'm sure we'll catch up with you in a second. But you're like wandering about, and this paper bat with like orange line, or not orange, what the fuck? With black ink lines sort of across its folded form, sort of like flies up to you. What's your passive perception?
17.
Oh shit. Basan, are you trying to like do one of those from around the corner?
Nah.
Zalace, you like see this thing, and you know you're a flight. I think you said you had the anxiety feat, maybe, but either way, you're like you're you're a pretty perceptive individual. You've been known to watch your back, and you kind of see from like around a corner down the hall. Basan, like, of course, is always very seriously like sending that over to you.
I'll just put my hand out when I see the sun down there and this flying towards me. I'll just put my hand out so they can rest on my hand, and then I'll have a look and just try and see what the picture is without unfolding the piece itself. And I'll just
Got it.
look down the hallway, smile and nod, and then just lift it back up in the air so it can fly off.
Excellent. Incredible. You see it, you smile, and you kind of just like let it there to like float off. And would you take it back, Basan, or is that staying where it's landed?
No, she'll actually put it on her shoulder.
Okay. The piece of paper floats into the air. And if you'll excuse the liberty, I think it'll be very interesting to see. You see like the piece of paper sort of like floats into the air and then starts and then refolds back into a bat and like flies back over to Basan and like lands on her shoulder, which is the sickest magician thing that you've probably ever seen. Like street magic kind of thing you've ever seen.
I think you'll see that looking at the picture, there'll be a bit of like regret and remorse on Zalace's face for the fact that he tried this and it failed and put the ship in so much jeopardy with a dragon, but then also enjoys the artistry of the bat.
Hell yeah. Okay. And speaking of which, what are you up to today, Zalace? And Basan, why don't you take inspiration? Because that was very cool.
Um, I think Zalace at the minute will just be keeping his head down as much as he can, and being as aloof and not ignoring people or anything like that, but just staying out of the way. But he will find a P0xi when there is no one else about and it's just the two of us.
Okay. Where do you think you're hanging out around on the ship, P0xi? Zalace is kind of wandering. Where would Zalace bump into you, perhaps?
I guess throughout the middle of our voyage, Epoxy would be on the top deck, watching the stars, doing a little woodcarver sculpture of the Shrike ship.
Oh, very cool. Why don't we get a check for that quick while Zalace is approaching? Make me. Are you proficient with woodcarver's tools?
Not at all.
Not at all. Do you have woodcarver's tools?
I do.
You do. Okay, why don't you make me. This is definitely like a fine art. So let's call it a dexterity check to. Or you know what? I'll let you propose the ability score if you want. Which one do you think fits to this task to Epoxy? Like, what is Epoxy doing? Is this a sort of. Are you
This
doing
is
this?
very
Yeah.
delicate work, I think, for a big guy like Epoxy. So I think dexterity would be most appropriate.
Understood. Okay, so go ahead. Yeah, make me the dexterity check.
I'm gonna use an inspiration.
Mhm.
All right.
I got a 10.
A 10. You're a little physical of an individual, and you're like, I, I don't know. I keep coming back to this reference, but Surf's Up with the Shia LaBeouf is like a penguin,
Oh my
and they're like
God.
carving the surfboard, and he's like, and he's like trying to get started. That's kind of you. You're like carving big chunks off the side, and then you're like trying to like form it into the thing, and you realize you took a little too much off the back, and you're like, ugh. So you like carve off more chunk to just try and make a smaller version, and then you realize you did too much, and it's like you're a little frustrated trying to make this thing, and it vaguely has the shape of a ship, but it is you've carved off too much for like the nose and the wings, and as you're frustrated and halfway through trying to carve this thing a little unsuccessfully, Soleil approaches.
Uh, hello. This is one of my finest work. What do you think?
Yeah, great. You're getting better. It's
You know what it is, right?
the dragon.
It's the ship.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I can see that now. Now that you've said, yeah, great.
Did you need something?
So I just have a look around, make sure no one else is around or within earshot of us.
Yeah, you guys are pretty much by yourselves on that deck, except for the various animals who are around.
So you understand what he is asking of the two of us, yes?
Of course. It's
Okay.
a competition.
So that competition doesn't need to harm anyone else, especially people on the ship of our crew or each other.
I've put my life on the line for the crew. I wouldn't back down on my own rights to that.
But I also mean not putting the crew in danger. If it means when we're landed and we have time, we can go searching somewhere else, away from the crew, away from the ship. But I don't want the crew dragged into this. We're already, well, one of us is already doing it under duress. But I can't have it done to the rest of the crew.
Just me and you. I'll make sure that'll be.
Okay. As long as we know and understand. And maybe best halfling win.
Epoxy reaches their arm out for a handshake to the better hunter.
Ah, thank you very much. No, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Can I try and no, it's fine. I'll leave it for a minute. It's okay. Shake the
Okay.
hand, nod, and walk away.
All right. So, just to be specific about what he said to you both, he said that he wants to see who the better hunter is, and how he intends to do this is he told you that to look for his signs, and once you do, there will be a trial, and that trial will become apparent at that time. So all you have to do now is look for his signs, and the way will reveal itself, basically. So be on the lookout for signs of Baphomet. Okay. Fantastic. If there's nothing else, you guys continue to move your way deeper in. It takes many hours, many long hours to get within the ship, or excuse me, within this planet system. And you drive even closer and closer through the asteroid system, but closer to the center, to Yggdrasil's child, as it is known to be. A not a planet in truth, but more some kind of colossal viney tendril-like plant that spans through the system. It is definitely the most unique plant you have ever seen. And, Griffin's still doing some work with the alchemy. It's not, the cure apparently is not entirely complete. You would see him producing various magics and like actively like growing stuff off the side of like the wood planks out for like extra ingredients he might require. Um, and he's working away. But as you guys draw closer to the center, he finds himself similar to where you are, P0xi, and kind of like looking off at in wonder, as you guys are as close as ever to this enormous plant body, and is just fascinated, utterly fascinated. But eventually, you come to this revolving planet that orbits. It is a disc-shaped moon you find yourself approaching. It is not too large either. Indeed, as you fly towards it and find yourself coming to land, just barely, but still, you can see the end of the planet on the horizon. You expect this planet is only about 72 miles in diameter. It is not a large planet at all. It is a moon. It is quite small. So you can probably see from one end to the other when you were close to the center, thereabouts. It's still very far, but thereabouts perhaps. And as you come to land, Celine sort of flies over the top of the moon, scanning for this outpost, and eventually you do come upon an outpost out in the middle of the trees and the woods with this strange plant biome. You do see what looks to be an old abandoned fort. There are no firelights, just stone, various stone structures, walls, and buildings, long abandoned and in decent repair. It hasn't been so many years. It's only been a couple months, in fact, since the end of the war, so it's still in decent repair, but largely abandoned. And Celine will bring the ship to some ways out the outskirts. I'll say like half a mile, maybe quarter mile, somewhere in there, and we'll land the ship in a decent landing zone. She'll say, "Okay, we've made it. Welcome to P0xi. I hope you like it. So first mate, what would you propose we do now? Are we gonna all go together? Do you want some people to hang back at the ship? What are you thinking?"
Well, first of all, I cast Mage Armor on myself. Just gonna throw my AC up.
Fair enough. Put your AC on.
Yeah, put my armor on. Well, let's see. Well, we need the main, main exploratory force. So myself, Celis, Basan, the P0xi Chaplain will be
Aye.
heading forth. I suppose if the captain's not feeling well, he can remain here aboard the ship.
As his tools drop from around the car.
Yeah, like he's fully working. He's like up to his elbows in like grease. He's like, "Oh yeah, I
totally don't feel very well, dude."
Oh, dude, I don't know, man. I just
That looks like the oil I use.
Hmm.
I fully love this for him.
I'm trying to remember like our full crew. So, Lara and Broadleaf with us.
First mate, may I suggest we go and scout out the area and the outpost before we bring everybody else in and their mates with all the equipment, just in case. You never know.
Well, if you're confident you can scout out the area safely, by all means, run on ahead. I believe you have some means of keeping in contact with us while you're gone. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I will put whispers on, which. Oh, where am I? Trying to find it. So yeah, I need a DC. So that's on for 3 hours
Very cool.
between us all. And I'll
Incredible.
have one to the ship as well.
All right, no problem. And just to remind you, Horror, of your crew, I assume the cook is staying, but
Yes.
you have Dame Alara Moonshadow, the paladin.
Yep.
You have Griffin Broadleaf. You have Jorn Axebeard and Celine Starshade. Those would be your NPC crew members.
I'll say Celine and Joran stay behind. One, because Joran's not really a combatant, and we need Celine to man the ship in case of emergencies.
Jorn goes, "Not a combatant. What was that supposed to mean? I'll have you know I was in the dwarven military. It might be a little fuck." He's a little pissed at himself because he hasn't been performing too admirably in battle lately. He's like,
Well,
I think you have more tactical prowess.
thanks.
well, Axebeard, in that case, do you want to come along?
Well, now I better.
Well, I suppose in that case, by all means, you're welcome to join us. I just figured you would prefer not to, given the last time we were
Don't say it.
two barrel carrying 2 barrels of Kindorei fluid and running for our very lives.
I was helping. He very grumpily stomps over and like picks up his maul and like slings it over his shoulder and like stomps down the gangplank to like go be ready to adventure. He doesn't want to hear anything else about your all's opinion of his abilities as a warrior.
Ethel's gonna grin a little. Well, in that case, we'll wait for Zalace's go, as it were.
Yeah, and we'll say that like you guys are getting your equipment together and hanging back and strapping down the ship just in case of emergencies and making sure Zalace is gonna go. So you're taking Jorn. Celine says, I'm happy to stay behind as usual.
Yeah.
And be okay.
It's pretty much everyone except Ed, Cook, and Celine.
Cool. Sweet. You gotta take it. Gotta have the paladin. And Griffin goes, of course. I need to identify the item we are all here for. Of course, I'll go. And he like looks some ways out of the settlement nervously. Fantastic.
It's quite abandoned, I'm sure. There will be no people.
Oh, indeed. People. So strange. All of you have come to find myself in good companies, but yes, peoples. And a couple of emotional support ferrets and bunnies will go with him. Sweet, but in the meantime, Zalace is out. Zalace, why don't you roll me a... first, I want you to roll me a survival check to find your way there. I will give you advantage because...
I've got it anyway.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
29?
29. You take into the wilds by yourself. You feel your heart beat like not a slow-paced, heavy drum. As you begin to make your way to the wild, and find yourself solitary. Maybe a stealth check, please.
21?
21. You are stealthed. You are hidden, and any creature you might come upon would not know your approach before you were there, and perhaps somewhere in your heart that you have never really realized until recent events, there's something deeply enjoyable about being that which there is to fear in the wild. Being that thing that people fear when there's nothing around. You are that thing. You are that predator. You make your way into the wilds, keeping a careful eye out. And eventually, party's not there yet. Oh God, that's the wrong person. You find your way. We'll say that you come in through the woods because you're being all stealthy. Like you don't follow the stone road that is a little in disrepair, but you do find the edge of what looks like more of a settlement than an outpost. Really, you see that there are multi-level buildings peeking up behind uh log lashed walls, which comes to points. And if you travel even further west, you will indeed find the door to the front of the settlement, which seems to remain closed despite the many towers.
Before I get anywhere close to the door, I just want to have a look around and see whether there's any turrets looking our way, whether there's any watchtowers or people within those watchtowers.
Absolutely watchtowers. Make me a perception check to see if anyone is looking at you from them.
19.
19. Um, 19.
It's pretty good.
There's something you don't catch exactly what it is, but much in the way where um much in the way where like a ship captain might be like, what's that over there, and see a bit of like a glint on the horizon and realize it's like the sun reflecting off of glass or metal, and that sort of giving something away. You look towards the top of these battlements, these turrets, and something just kind of catches your eye, little glints, like there's that one moon that is the ball of fire that creates heat here on Garden, um, glinting off of something. You see movement, glints and shines, just like little tiny little reflections of light from something metallic, something gemstone like, perhaps moving, like that had moved as you try and scan the top. You don't catch what it is exactly, but something able to move, something metal perhaps, sort of scampers away.
Can I? So I'll relay all that back to the party. Sorry, I meant to say it's only 3 people that I can do. So obviously I'll do Etherith and I'll do a P0xi as well. Because obviously I want to be in touch with her to see what shady shit she's doing as well. So I'll put that back to the party. And can I try and climb the tree? So I'll let them know that it's available to come on up as far as we are here, but then don't go any further.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
climb the tree that I'm near to try and
Okay.
get a better vantage point.
Absolutely. So the party, you guys probably start
Yep.
setting out with the scout report.
Yep.
And you guys will catch up in due time. Zalace, why don't you make me, as it's very much like a pull-up situation, and you don't have a climb speed, make me an athletics check to see if you can, yeah, I'll be generous. Make me an athletics or acrobatics to see if you can like use your acrobatic skill to sort of utilize your body well enough. Get up there.
All right, well, I'd rolled an athletics there already, and that was a 12.
A 12. You don't climb very quickly. It's very like, and you're using acrobatics, I assume?
Athletics.
Or you're using athletics, okay. So you're like, and you're kind of like you have a small halfling body, but your body is more built for finesse and dexterity than like brute strength, and it's a little tough to like be doing like pull-ups and stuff like that to get yourself to the top of the tree. It definitely takes not going to say a full minute, but it takes maybe a couple more seconds than you were hoping, and you do make your way to the top of the nearest tree. You get to the top, and you're kind of like, and you look off from that top branch. You can see that there is a better view of the main street at this point. You do indeed see that it largely looks abandoned, and again, looks a little bit more like a settlement than an outpost. The elves seem to be very thorough when they were setting up or intended to use this place very often. There, I will put out there, it's changed a little bit over time. I'm actually going to delete some of the board because I'm considering this now in this moment, where you see that there are tree stumps that have been uprooted. You get the sense this was once a place where a lot of spelljammers might have been landed. And you look down the street, but it is largely abandoned.
Do I see that metallic movement from here? Can I get a better look at it?
Maybe another perception check.
21.
21. You're looking at the top of the turrets. You're not seeing anything. You're having a bit of like a damn moment. But there's good news that while you're looking, another glint of light catches your eye. And you kind of like look down, and I will point it out on the map. So at about here, there is a little like light that catches your eye again, sort of a little like light refracting off of something. Everything looks fine, and there's just a moment of like blank, and you kind of like look down there, and you get the sense that whatever the metallic light is at this point, you're pretty certain that whatever it is some kind of sentience. And that was like a peak. That was
Okay.
like a peak around the building, and you caught the glint of the light off the creature, and then it kind of retracted by around the wall. That's kind of what you're getting a sense of.
Okay, so I'll make my way down the tree and I will, once I meet up with the party, I'll let them know what I've seen.
Got it. So you guys, following Zalace's commands, make your way to about here, to which there's a like rustling in the trees, and then Zalace falls out of the tree. Not falls out of the tree, but very coolly lands out one of the trees and arrives from the forest. Yeah. Your party meets up.
Everything as it should be, or anything to be
Well,
concerned about besides strange glints?
can't make out what it is. I couldn't see anything else. Only this strange glint. So maybe another metallic creature, but it was definitely aware. Let's put it. Whether it was aware of me up in the tree or just the aware of someone's presence within its vicinity, I'm not sure. What do you want to do, Captain? Sorry, first mate.
I was just reading something in it. This may help. I want to use it anyway, just because. I mean, you said you couldn't quite make it out, but I might be able to aid with that if you'll permit me. And I sort of pat the brain jar hanging on my belt.
Yeah, Threth pulls out the famous brain jar that you guys picked up from the Mind Flayer prison.
Gnarly.
Griffin's like, he's like, can't believe what he's seeing.
When you say you can help me out with that and then tap the brain jar, no.
It's
What do you want to do?
we can inspect the memory and give you perfect recall and exact details. You might be able to have an easier time identifying what you saw if you can recall the whole thing with more clarity.
You doubt what I'm saying to you? There was a.
Not at all. I don't doubt
I
it was at all, but
didn't see the whole thing. It was around the corner. Very glinty. Sun caught it, shot me in the eye. That's all I seen. Don't need another little brain telling me what I seen.
okay. It's more about trying to get precise details to identify what we're dealing with, but point
Okay.
taken. I won't go nosing around your brain.
It's just obviously with things as they are at the moment, I'm not sure whether it's something I want to do.
Understood. In that case, we'll press on. If anyone's capable of, I don't know, detection of strange metallic creatures, be sure to utilize those skills.
I mean, look, I can go fly around as a bat, have a look, and let's see what's going on. I can still keep up the communication. That's not an issue.
Could turn into a bat? How interesting. Perhaps you are of the druidic persuasion as well? I'm surprised I am.
I would be too, but no, I'm not. It's just a nice little cloak I've got. Won't bore you with the details, but it just helps me transform into a bat. What I want.
He looks a little sad. He thought you were an animal, and that was really cool for him. He goes, very well, fly away. It's fine.
Go ahead then. I suppose we'll wait at the front gate.
Just be careful of the gap between the forest line and the gate. I've not really checked it out properly. I'll do a little flyby of it just to see if there's anything there, but just be aware. So I will then use polymorph and change into a bat.
You take your wings and you fold them around yourself, very Batman-like, and then as you splay them outward, your form sucks up into itself, almost like wraps itself up in the cloak, and then it produces your bat form. It's all very aesthetic, you must understand. And you turn into a bat. Batman or bat halfling, and you fly on in there. Griffin, despite what you've said, is very amused by the fact that you've polymorphed. And he's like, wow. Okay, and you're gonna fly on ahead. We'll peel back to Zalace's scout, but I just want to know what the rest of the party is doing in the meantime.
Epoxy's gonna climb up a tree and try to look at this creature too.
All right, make me an athletics check to clamber up a tree.
Wait.
Yes, Chopper.
Before that happens, let me go ahead and cast Pass Without Trace before Epoxy gets us noticed.
Hey, I will remind you, Chaplain, you have a pretty cool benefit that helps people be sneaky.
I do have that for a stealth check, but I'm not sure that's going to keep them from falling out of a tree or making all kinds of a ruckus. But
I'll do the
but also
stealth
that
check first.
all right. In that case, Blessing of the Trickster.
Hey, Blessing of the Trickster. Doesn't get enough use. It gets lost a little bit here and there. Okay, so Epoxy, and an athletics check. I'm sure that'll be very difficult for a barbarian.
Oh no.
Oh, oh fuck.
See, I
Cool.
knew it.
Athletics? It's not terrible. It's 16.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Yeah, you climb up that tree, no problem. You climb up the tree easily enough. Your form is sort of like you're not Beast Boy or anything, but your form is
I'm like
very
a lizard.
yeah, your form is very flexible, where it almost like ever so slightly rearranges itself in different situations. Like maybe the shoulders will go a little further back or a little forward, or like refit themselves to sort of suit the need in an animalistic way. So in this moment, maybe you're a little more, your arms sort of become a little bit more flexible, and like your arms just ever so slightly extend a little longer, monkey-like, and you up tree. You may make me a stealth check now at advantage.
Disadvantage, so it's gonna
So
go
s-
flat because of my armor.
Absolutely.
And I have pass without trace.
No, I
Not
didn't
well
cast
this
the
far.
pass without trace.
Yeah, not well this far, Chaplain.
Okay, then. Oh no. I got a 7.
Is everything out? You make that tree your bitch. You climb up that tree so good. But and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. But everyone who's watching the tree's going,
I never
all
suspect a
the
thing.
yeah, all the way up, and you're like up at the top of the tree, like fucking Simba at the end of the movie, and everyone's like,
You'll just hear in your head Zalace laughing at you because he can hear and see you from miles away. Do you know what I mean? Racking. So he's just laughing and just like, well done, Epoxy. Very stealthy. Nobody heard you.
Thank you.
there are two kinds of hunters. There are the ones who just run out of the tree line, and then the ones who sneak up from the tree line, and we know which hunter you are.
Can I
Um,
perceive anything?
uh,
Anyone?
we shall see. Zalace, I want you to roll me your bat stealth check, please, as you begin to make your flight forward. As you are Batman, Batman.
He's a batling.
Batling.
20.
Very nice. Hey, there's good news. Epoxy is drawing attention away from you, which is always good. And we'll get some perception checks in a second. I just want to once more tail back to Hassan, Chaplain, Etherith, and the rest of the crew. What are you guys doing?
I'm just going to sensibly walk forward.
All right. Jordan will walk forward too. He's got his maul over his shoulder. He's looking a little more mean than usual. You get the sense he feels like he's got something to prove. Ilara's like, do, 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 do. She's happy as a pig in shit, and so is Griffin. He's like, oh, snowy planet. I haven't seen snow in a great my time. Hassan,
Isan stays with Ethereth.
all right, and Chaplain.
Chaplin is going to probably, yeah, just stay with the group for now. He's kind of waiting to get word on what's going on ahead.
All right, you guys are approaching the door. Ilara's and Griffin's like picking up snow and like oh, that's so, and he's just amused by the nature. He hasn't been in this biome in a while. But yeah, let's give me some perception checks. Zalace and Epoxy. Go for it.
So with echolocation and keen hearing, sorry, I have advantage.
Yes, advantage.
Wow. 5.
5. The sound of Epoxy. You're like, fucking hell. Epoxy, unfortunately, you're new to being a bat, and focusing your hearing is not something you're quite used to yet. What'd you get, Epoxy?
10.
10. No dice, I'm afraid. Whatever the glint was Zalace picked up earlier seems to have made a swift flight. Or is hiding out somewhere nearby, but in this
I'll
time,
catch up with everybody else.
yeah, out of the tree, and you catch up with everybody. All right, you find yourself confronted with the single most daring challenge any adventuring party commonly has, which is a closed door.
I'll just
punch
fly
it.
over.
Is Epoxy still up a tree?
No,
No,
Epoxy
no.
apparently runs up behind you like Austin Butler and like the bike riders during that one fight, and just runs up behind you and punches the door. Make me an attack roll.
Yeah.
What is with my rolls?
You'll have advantage because reckless, and also it's an inanimate object
Oh
in
yeah,
in
okay,
that
I'll go
scenario.
reckless then. I got a what was my first roll? 5 plus 7. 13, I think.
Let's see what the AC of wood is. You, and you're like, okay, that's it. You punched a piece of wood. Good job.
Sorry,
That was
12.
12. Understood. You punched a piece of wood. You punched the wood door, and you do punch the wood door. You don't damage it in any sort of way, but you have successfully made contact.
It is indestructible.
I'm Xbeard, you have a mole. Why don't you try breaking the door down?
All right, fine. I will. And he'll take his. Everyone stand back. Watch this.
It's all
And he's gonna
yours.
go. Ugh, and he's going to make an attack.
Can I give him the help action?
He doesn't need it. He goes,
Oh
no, stay back.
no! Ah,
He's
apologies.
Zalace, go ahead.
Can I just have a look at the back of the gate and see whether there's a lock or a bar or something like that that's on this on the side of the village?
Yeah. Uh, no. You do notice that like the actual logs are a little bit like there's a little bit of frost and snow is kind of built up at the bottom. But other than that, the gate looks largely unlocked. Yeah, it's an abandoned fort, so there was no real need to lock it.
I'll just
Um,
say to Etherith, it's just a bit stuck by a bit of ice and dirt at the bottom. Just give it a good push or clear it before you do.
Especially just stare even longer at Fox and like, how? Fuck?
as you get this message, Axbeard goes boom and slams the front of it with his maul. And is it in the wood? There he'll like chip a big hole in the front, and I'll say at that point, like, I guess we're gonna throw him a bone. Yeah, the ice sort of cracks in the bottom, and the door kind of like not fully opens, but definitely like a little cut in the middle, sort of appear, not cut, but like a door's open ever so slightly as it begins to sort of give. And Axbeard throws his maul over his shoulder gun. He's like, ah, how's that? One blow, I've still got it.
I'm
I
gonna
push
roll
it
something.
open.
Okay, evens, I tell him. Odds, I don't. Odds, okay. Great job, Axbeard. You formed exactly as required, and I kind of just nudged the remainder of the door open with my staff.
Oh fuck! It was a pull. Yeah, maybe it cracked open that way because of his blow. And then he's like, "Urgh," and he goes, "Oh fuck, it's a pull." And then he'll stick his hand and like pull it that way, and put his maul over his shoulder and be very pleased with himself. And walk in, and be like, "I still got it."
Cut right through the wood.
Now that we're just walking into this place, obviously not trying to be hidden at all, can I roll my animals?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, 1, a 7, and an 8. So we got a rat, we got a lion, and we have a brown bear.
Whoa.
All right, let me get you a rat, a lion, and a brown bear. They all walk into a bar. All right. Damn, a tumor? Ew. Um, and a bear. A burr. All right. Brown bear's large.
It's a good question. Let me look it up.
Black bear is excuse me, medium. A brown bear is large. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a grizzly. You basically summoned a grizzly bear, a lion, and a rat. Very different ends of the spectrum, all one of them. Yep, each to the man. Um, the bear immediately arrives, the lion arrives, and there's a and the lion goes, the rat goes, and you have your beasts.
All right. Can I
I
send
imagine
the
like some people jump as like they didn't expect the fucking roar of a lion and a bear.
right? No warning. He just rolls them.
A rat.
Can I send the rat out to like skitter through the streets and take a look around?
Yeah, goes hopping along. Absolutely. I want to bring us back to the bat, because the rat might be doing a similar thing. Zalace, as the party has been working hard to make their way through that door, what are you doing?
I will. So, seeing if Chaplin's rat's gone off to the left, I want to check out the tower and the area where I seen the glint in the first place.
Okay. So you will fly up to the top of this turret where you saw the glint for the first time, um, and sort of flutter there. Make me a. Do you have when you polymorph in this way? You keep your mental stats, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
yes.
Cool. Make me a survival or investigation check. It is your choice. Let me know which one you're rolling. Different information for every roll.
I'll go with investigation.
Okay.
13.
13. You look around. You're looking around, looking around. Um, let's see here. What would you find? You do see that there is not a lot of snow up here. Oh, cool. There is not a lot of snow up here, which suggests that there's been traffic up here, and recently, perhaps. So you think that this place, though seemingly abandoned, is in fact not. Um, but you don't find any signs of like food or refuse or garbage of any kind, which is not usually a telltale sign of like bandits because they tend to be a little messy. Um, so something's amiss. Um, it is possible that what you saw could have been like an autognome or something like that. Very, very Chaplin, perhaps. The glint of the light off of its metal form sentient. There could be an autognome running around here. It's entirely possible. That's kind of what you surmise. You're like, okay, whatever is around here has been here for a while, has come here a lot, this turret specifically to keep a lookout, and it's probably some kind of construct-based creature.
I will pass all that information on to the party. So while I'm up here, is there any way down the tower for me, or is there any windows or anything?
Yeah, you see a set of stairs, and you can flutter into the interior of the tower if that is your to your pleasure.
So while the party start, I will start making my way down the stairs.
Yeah, you flutter down the stairs, and it's a very simple interior. Um, there's the winding staircase that is largely in good repair. I'll say as part of your investigation, you recognize that this was an outpost from the Unhuman War, the last Unhuman War. Obviously, you don't know exactly when this outpost was abandoned, but if it was abandoned at the end of the war, this place has only been free of the Elven Armada for like half a year. So this place obviously isn't like a ruin, like erosion hasn't taken its toll yet. But you do notice that there's like no furniture or supplies in here. They probably took it with them. Um, but yeah, it's just an empty tower at this point. Um, and obviously, there's no snow on the interior as there's no holes. So it's a little difficult to track down anything
Okay.
of the interior. But no, you don't find anybody. It would be hard to hide in here anyway.
Yep. Okay, that will be me filling it.
Okay, and you sort of can flutter out when you're done through one of the windows or the roof itself. Okay, the rat goes running down the street and disappears down the street. Um, I think I'll tell you what though. Before it leaves, in his deep amusement, Griffin is going to kneel down to the rat. He says, "Oh, before you go, let me go with you." And he is going to cast Beast Sense.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and he will, and his eyes will go rat-like, just like their pupils will change to sort of match the eyes of the rat. And the rat will sort of scurry down the street. Griffin will sort of stand up and just kind of smile. So he will see and hear everything that the rat is seeing and hearing.
Okay.
Incredible. Okay, so the rat's gonna go scurrying. Is there any specific direction, or you just kind of like go find something interesting?
Oh, the rat.
Yeah,
Mostly, I guess, following that street in front of us, and then no specific direction after that. I guess anything out of the way. So maybe take a left up there at the left.
got it. So you're like, just kind of do your thing, take a left at the left. Um, and as you wander, Griffin says, "Oh yeah, let me know if, please, ask, inquire. I see through the eyes of your rat, and mine eyes might know a little ways around as your rat discovers. Um, but I don't wish to disturb, so let me know."
I
Griffin
think
will
I
just
think
be,
we're just looking for any signs of anything moving around or signs of something maybe inhabiting this place.
and of course, I shall let you know of signs of life as we go. And I do not speak of the trees, for they are also living, but not perhaps what you are looking for. And Griffin will call out or say if he spots anything through the rat's eyes that might be sentient and alive. Um, and you guys want to just kind of start making your way down the street? The boys are back.
Yes. Let's go.
Might as well.
Uh, and again, you seem to be in like the center of what looks to be a little bit of a town. It is worth noting that this place is very elvish in its style. You expect that this place was not built by hand, such as the elvish way of architecture. They use magic to build, and the wood is not like plank by plank by plank by plank. It is as if there was like a massive great tree that they carved this house from, or a single stone that they had carved from. But it's simple, but still has those clear signs of like elvish design. They wouldn't make a cart without adding something beautiful to it. You make your way down, you see huts and multiple story buildings, perhaps a shop of was what was once a shop of some kind, but largely abandoned. You don't see any like goods. You could go inside the buildings if you wished to see
Um,
around. Yep.
I was gonna say to Zealous, do a sweep of the buildings as we pass by. I'd hate to get ambushed.
Okay, I'll make sure that I'm 30 feet of the party at all times and just scanning as I go up.
All right, scannings go up. Axebeard will say, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe he looks back at the bear and the lion. He goes, maybe they might knock down some doors and ensure there's no trouble if they're expendable, or we could go in groups of twos, or perhaps, and just open doors and see, cover some ground."
Are there any is there any way to tell from the outside what like any indication of what some of these buildings might be so that we can narrow it down a little bit, eliminate some?
Maybe an insight check. We'll say as you like look at the buildings and their structures to see what they could have possibly been.
Hey, I'm
It's
good
all
at that one.
guesswork.
All right. 17.
17. Let's see. Clearly, the turrets are watchtowers, perhaps, or military barracks of some kind. There are a number of multi-level buildings. Some of them are big enough that, like this one, for example, could have probably been a tavern, or a common eatery, meeting place, inn. Who knows? Difficult to say without going in. Um, as you walk down the street, there's a large one at the very back. You think that that could have maybe been some kind of like governance house, or like where maybe like if this was a military site, maybe where the commanders were stationed, where like important business went down. You see off to the side, there's clearly like a market, like an abandoned market, no goods in their stalls, but old barrels left around. There is this like big stone building that has enough decoration to it that it was probably a temple of some kind. And then the thatched roofed buildings were probably residences. Some of the buildings are a little more difficult to identify than others, but
Sure.
some of the bigger buildings probably have prominence to them that you might be worth investigating. Yes, Vasilis.
As I'm flying down ahead of the party, do I see any type of footprints or markings on the floor of someone, moving across ground? Not so much on the path, but on the side of the pathway.
Yeah, make me a survival check.
There we go. 17.
17. Yes. Yes, you do. You flutter down here, and I think this is probably the best place to start because you did see like a little peak out there. And you kind of flutter between, like, flutter around this building. You're like, I'm not sure which side I saw it on. But as you get to this side of the building, you do see that there are some prints. Uh, like, basically, you get the sense that the path of the creature you saw earlier was like looped around over here and then kind of made its way around the back of the building like so. You do see footprints. Um, it is a very strange footprint, but very much confirms your construct thought. It looks like a bare human footprint, but the actual foot is segmented into like portions. Like there's a clear sign of like, there's a split down the middle and there's this portion, this portion, this portion, this portion. It looks very like robotic, if you will.
Okay, so I'll pass that on to the group and just say it looks like the human foot, but it is a construct. So just be careful and be aware.
Oh, those are a bad matchup for me.
And you can
Understood.
continue. Yeah, and Zalace, you can continue to investigate, and we'll come back to that in a second. Where do you think you guys are going to go investigate? There's a couple of larger buildings, a couple of places around here.
Well, let's give one of these large buildings a try.
All right, point one out, and I'll be happy to take you there.
Um, and just because I know this looks like it'll be fun. The one with like the carpet on top of it.
Yeah, that guy over there. Sure,
Yeah. Let's go with that.
makes sense. All right. You guys open up the door. It is unlocked. You see that it seems to be some kind of tavern. Um, the room is largely empty. There's some old art pieces hanging on the wall, nothing of great value. Um, Looks more like distorted than anything. It looks like, when you go to like those pubs and they have pictures on the wall of like celebrities or people or whatever. That's what these are. These aren't like elven art pieces. These are more like almost like portraitures, like street artist style, like someone did it like a little rapidly. But it shows like a number of individuals, like maybe like 5 or 6 individuals, mostly elvish, who are like all sitting at a table together and like smiling. It's not like big goofy features or anything, but it does look like a rather like quick, like, oh, let me do a portrait of your group. Um, those kind of hang on the walls. There's some very old, low value supplies like stuff for a fireplace, old wood logs, plates, pans, some boxes and barrels. Uh, it's a largely abandoned and moved out from tavern space with a high ceiling.
With eyes. Oh, let's investigate, see if there's anything hidden.
All right, maybe an investigation check. Anyone who wishes to hop on as well may do so as well.
Not 20.
Nat 20.
That's 2.
You look around. You do notice that there is trapdoors behind the bar, as would be common of some places. A basement in a a military outpost is rather advanced construction for a place that is like we might be here in a month, we might not. It's a little surprising that they might have like actually excavated and installed a basement somewhere that is expendable. If you open those up, you will see that it is like a crawl space for like supplies, and there's nothing down there but like empty boxes and such. But the fact that there is a crawl space, a subterranean storage space, it is pretty advanced construction for a place that supposedly is meant to be abandoned and expendable. And then you sort of start to go like, well, now that I think of it, and you like look around and like, despite that elves like to use magic, it probably took decent magic to make this place. If the great large turrets, the decently built buildings, like this doesn't give you the essence of a place that was meant to be abandoned, possibly. And that's the purpose of outposts, militarily speaking, to be put up quickly, not too quickly, but quickly enough. And then if you need to leave, you can leave without having to worry about expending unnecessary resources. But that doesn't give you, you're not getting that from this place. You rolled that 20. You look around at the various art pieces. You know, these, there's no one here you recognize. You were born fucking like a month ago. You don't know any of these people. But you know, I will say though, in your nat 20, perhaps you are thorough enough to like be like, hey, you guys like were in the unhuman. Some of you guys were in the unhuman world. Take a look at the art. Does anybody look at the art? Hassan,
Sure, I'll look at the art.
Chaplain, P0xi, are you looking?
Is it possible I have any data if I roll well enough?
It's possible. You look around. Okay, you guys all look around. Before I come to you guys in your assessment of the art pieces, was there anything you wanted to do, Ethrith?
So the crawl space just contained like, I don't know, crawl space
Empty
knickknacks and
crates,
supplies. Yeah.
rotten fruit, maybe like half empty barrels of water.
But now I'll wait for everyone else to give me their opinions on the and then I'll figure something out.
Got it. Jorn looks around and shrugs, like he doesn't associate with elves. Like he does, but you know. Ilara is like, no, I only got out of the Feywild like a little while ago, so no. But the rest of you guys go looking around. There might be a couple. There might be like, let me roll for it. Basan, there's a couple faces there where you're like, maybe like a couple people you might have known from like in the war wouldn't have been weird. Like, you know, people got traveled around a lot in the military. You're like, maybe I knew this guy, maybe there was P0xi, your sensors highlight an individual and sort of like flick red as there's a clear identification that you know of as well. Give me a minute as I will tell you who that is.
By all
I just
means.
need to get that note out. But you recognize this individual, and one of the few individuals in the portraits who is not an elf. You recognize Dr. Winsensky. Your sensors sort of like a whole series of data that you're like, what the fuck? Dr. Yeah, or Dr. Winsky, I think is how it's pronounced. Dr.
Winsky.
Winsky, yes, this is Dr. Winsky, and you see he's in like, there's only like 6 portraitures in here, but he's in 3 of them. He's in half of all of them. And your sensors like sort of like his name, a little picture, like information.
Oh,
You can make me a history check to see what you and your sensors and your data know
oh,
of this
history.
individual. I will give you advantage.
This is great. I am rolling poorly today. My total is 12.
12. Your thing goes out, says Dr. Winsky, and it shows like a little picture of his like true face. Next to it in like a thumbnail, all this information sort of begins to be wrote out. Um, and then before like you can read it, it all sort of like goes dim and a large red banner appears that says classified over it. And underneath his name, it gives like his date of it gives him like his birth year, which was like maybe like 100 years ago. And it also says artificer of the Elven Armada, creator of the P0xi units.
Huh. This th this is my maker.
Your what?
The the man that created me. And he was born about 100 years ago now.
Oh, how fun. Have you ever met him? Is he nice?
I have no idea.
Chaplain, you're capable of keeping us hidden, yes?
Of keeping epoxy hidden?
Keeping all of us hidden, hiding
Well,
us.
I can make it so that we're hard to track down.
Perfect.
Sure, I'll do that now. And you will go ahead and cast now. Pass without trace on the group.
Okay. The shadows, the snow itself, nature folds itself around all of you to protect you and hide you as best it can.
From this point onwards, we stay low and quiet. Between the involvement of Epoxy's successor, creator here, and the presence of unidentified constructs, I'm going to assume we might be dealing with the likes of Epoxy. And if they're anything like Epoxy, they might be quite vicious.
The last thing I'm going to give to you, Ethereth, again with your nat 20 investigation, as Apoxy identifies this individual. He is the most constant individual in all of the paintings. There's no doubles in any of them except this guy. He's in half of all of them. They apparently spend a lot of time here.
I mean, this place is supposed to be an outpost, something temporary, a mere foothold in a larger scale conflict, and yet it has a whole tavern, permanent storage for supplies, advanced construction, and the presence of someone, I dare say, a pioneer, if they're so intrinsic to the local culture, going by the portraits.
I'll wave the druid over and be like, what's the druid's first name? What broadleaf?
Griffin.
Griffin. Hey, Griffin, is this your friend that we came here looking for the stuff?
He's like standing outside the door and goes, who? He's like trying to look from the door.
You said that the equipment belonged to a friend of yours that was here. Is this him?
He'll look at the threshold and kind of look at the rabbits, and the rabbits go, and he like haphazardly like steps over the threshold and in, and he kind of like looks around, and then he kind of musters his courage, and you see his posture very much changes to like kind of like a like he doesn't like the interior space, and sort of like quickly gingerly steps over to you, Chaplain. He looks at the portrait. You're pointing at the gnome, this doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
He goes, yeah, that's him. And then we'll quickly scurry back out of the tavern and side. You get
Hey,
the sense that he
P0xi.
is very sensitive to claustrophobia.
Yes.
Griffin as your maker.
I'm that is wonderful, but I'm not sure how Waninsky will be happy to see me, or if he'll be happy. I tried looking up his files in my database, but it has been classified within my own memories.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, great minds like our Captain Aldous Waninsky are, in times of war, great military assets. Important ones that need to be kept secret. So it's no wonder that you can't speak overly freely about your creator.
It is for the best.
For now, let's move on, try another building, and stay low and quiet. I don't want to be ambushed by any of, I don't know, your siblings.
Right.
And Everett will head outside and sneak, which he's super good at.
All right, sneak away. You have a +10 thanks to Chaplain. And if the whole party wishes to enter stealth, I will require stealth rules from everybody,
I will stick
including the
to
bears.
first mate and stealth as well.
14, let's go.
Oh goodness.
Hey, I mean,
Goodness gracious, goodness of that.
that's a 4 + 10, so I'll take it.
Lara's like, I should have worn something that covers up more of my skin. I'm so kind of cold. Just kind of complaining about her outfit.
That sounds like a really skill issue of people with like, flesh. Just smooth skin problems,
What?
cheese.
Other with skin?
I guess. She looks at her skin. She looks down at her like mostly open chest, and she's like, "Oh."
Laughs in cold resistance.
Exactly. As a reminder, everyone gets a +10 on these rolls.
And I get disadvantage.
23.
Yeah, I'm as soon as Pass Without a Trace comes up, I'm not too worried about
15.
stealth capabilities. 15. Oh, Jordan, if only you weren't wearing heavy armor, you could have rolled perfectly. Okay. So everyone seems to roll like a 15 plus. You guys enter
I got a 14.
a 14. Okay. Cool. So you guys are gonna probably average out in the 15-20 range. I'm not gonna go for the average calculator. That's all the information I need. I want to go back to Zalace. I want to go back to our bat friend. So Zalace, you can continue to follow the tracks to the best of your ability. You rolled. Do you recall what you rolled on your survival?
I can tell you what I rolled. Hold on. Survival check was 17.
17.
Yeah.
There's parts where the tracks sort of disappear. But you're clever enough to know that they probably like used the pavement to sort of maybe they were aware of their tracks and used the pavements to try and like hide it. So you kind of follow the pavements as best you can in bat form, looking around, looking around. Um, Survival is a little bit about luck too, about finding the right place, and indeed you are lucky enough to find where the tracks continue. You follow these footprints in a hurried step, in a hurried pace, down this back alley over to here, and then like through the trees, and you see that they are going into this big building over here.
Okay, I will let the party know where I'm going. And this area at the top where you're, yeah, there, that is
The
open
balcony.
to me.
Yeah, the balcony's open. You can flutter up over there if you want to.
So I'll go on the top there. How long has it been now that we've been in this area?
I believe your polymorph lasts for like an hour. You're not
Yeah.
even close.
Okay.
It's been like 10 minutes. You're fine.
Yeah, I'll let the party know where I am. And if there is on the balcony, if there is anywhere that I can see through, or even if it's a window, I'll just have a sneak and a look through there.
Got it. There's two closed doors on the top floor. Gonna be a little hard to open as a bat, but there are indeed exterior windows. Which window do you want first, left or the right?
We'll go left.
Cool. You sort of flutter over to the left window and look inside. Make me a survival check, or excuse me, a perception check. I think I'll give you a disadvantage because the interior is a little dark. And this is about sight.
But I have as a bat.
You do have echolocation,
Yeah.
so I will get. Yeah, no, I take it back then. Yeah, I'll give you advantage.
And keen hearing,
Yeah,
which
so
gives me advantage on perception checks.
So you're good. Yep, advantage away.
I did rolls, so you want them rolls that I've already done?
Sure.
So one was a 14. And 14 was the highest.
14. Okay. Yeah, that's enough. You're just looking through a window. That's all you're really doing. You see what looks to be like. This is probably it is what it looks like. It is you're looking into the hall that leads up to the stairs. Like the stairs like sort of ascend up to here, and lead out into the balcony. You can't see too much of what's down the stairs though. Just not because of your perception, just because it's a little further down. All you see is like the floor below with your echolocation sight. If you want the right window now, I'll carry over your roll, and you will flutter over there to take a nice look. You see what looks to be a bedroom or maybe like an in-room. There is a twin bed and then like a queen bed. They still have sheets on them, though they look a little bit like they're wearing. You get the sense they've been there for a while. But it's very cleaned out. There's no decor. There's no lights. It looks like nobody's been through here in a long time.
Am I able to fit through the window, or is it a closed window?
Let's roll. Let's find out how lucky you are. It seems that indeed it is a little bit open at the bottom. Why don't you make me a acrobatics check as a bat to see if you can squeeze your small bat body through? There's a little bit of snow.
So 22.
You just kind of flutter back and you fly at the window and you kind of do one of those and you just kind of get like a little bit fit in there and then you kind of wiggle yourself through the rest of the window and you make your way in. Now that you're in the interior space and kind of like standing there as a bat on the bed, you do see that there is a bit of snow that has made its way in. It's a little colder in here from the crack in the window. And you're in the interior space.
I'm gonna drop my polymorph form.
All right. Damn, full Batman shit, man. Excellent.
And while
Uh,
this is all happening, I'm passing this back to the party and letting them know where I am and what's happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, let's keep with you just for a moment. Let's keep with you for a moment. We did a full tavern investigation a moment ago,
Okay.
so let's keep with you. What would you
So
like to do?
is there anything in this room like cupboards or trunks or anything like that that I can have a quick search of just to see if there's anything of anything in there?
There is a side table, as you can see. If you open the drawer, there's nothing but like maybe like I don't know, like useless old supplies, really, to be frank. Um, Maybe like a copper piece that got missed. Um, like a crumpled up piece of paper that has nothing on it if you unfold it. Or actually, it does have something on it. It would be like the start of a letter, and no one you would I be able to identify as far as you know. It'd say like, um, "Dear Swift Wind, I have always loved you," and then it's crumpled up. And yeah, that's what you find generally. If you want to do a more thorough investigation of the room, make me an investigation check.
Why not? Oh, it's 12.
12. Look around the room. There's nothing of interest in here. It doesn't look like anyone's been through here since this place got closed down. Um, it was once perhaps a little more interesting, but now moved out.
Okay. Can I move to the door that's in front of me and just have a listen before and a check of traps and stuff like that? Just do the whole rigmarole.
Yep, investigation.
Come on. 13.
13. Not trapped as far as you know.
Is it unlocked?
Yeah, it's unlocked. You turn the handle, you open it, nothing bad happens. You're all good. Um, you find yourself on the backside balcony. Again, it is a largely moved out patio space. Perhaps was very nice at one point, but very much gives you the sign of like a tavern or a place of business that was packed up and moved out from. There's another door to your right.
I think I will go back and go through the other door that's in the bedroom and again just check to make sure I can not hear anything on the other side. Oh no, because I would have seen that there was no one there.
Yeah.
So can I just go through the door?
Yeah, you just go through the door and you would see like the light under the cracks. You know this leads to the balcony. You're on the balcony. There's two more doors. You know this one leads to the staircase that you saw.
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
know
want
where
to
this
go
one
through
leads
that
to.
one. I'll try that one.
Okay. Checking for traps. Make me an investigation.
Again, 15.
Um, 15. You check it over. Yeah. Uh, I'll tell you something interesting though. No traps, but you do find signs that there was an active trap here, but has since been tripped. You find like a small tripwire that is snapped and like in the door, and there's a couple of like little holes in the edges of the door frame. You get the sense that this was trapped, but has since been activated. Um, you don't know if that was recent or a while ago, but it's not trapped now.
Okay, I'll open the door as quietly as possible and step through, having a look around.
Um, okay. Okay. You step through and you will see a much nicer room, bigger, You see a 4-poster, like very nice bed. Um, it is a 4-poster bed, but it's a little stranger in dimensions. It is a bit smaller. It's only about, like, as far as length goes, it doesn't. Yeah, about lengthwise, it looks like it is queen in width, 4-postered, but as far as like the actual length goes, this looks like it was meant for a small creature, like maybe someone more your sized than like a human or an elf or something. And
Um,
there's another bed in the corner.
can I investigate the room and see if there's anything of worth or any hidden, um, like hidden places under the floorboards or in the walls and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Come on. 14. Wow.
14. Um, you look around, you're going to find that the other door was similarly trapped once, but now is inactive due to the fact that it was tripped. Um, you look around, the room is not, there's nothing really about it. There's nothing in the side compartment. You open it up and you do find, like, similar as the other one, there's not much in here, but you do find like a strange, super thin, small metal rod with a number of notches on it. It reminds you of like some of the tools you have in your thieves tool set. Just like one of the things. It's not a thieves tool item, but it does remind you of it. So you get the sense that this is some kind of specialized tool from some kind of toolkit. And then there is like an empty vial and maybe similarly like 2 copper that were missed. Sort of like at the back of the drawer.
I will take the part piece of whatever it is just in case. Can I check the bed specifically and see whether there's any like levers or anything underneath or something around the bed? Because obviously if we're in an elven place, knowing that they're all elven, why would there be such a small bed?
Fair enough. Yeah, you peek under the bed specifically. You're looking around, feeling under, trying to find anything. Just make me one more investigation check for this specific space.
Roll the dice. That's bad. Investigate 17.
17. You find you're like looking around, there's nothing under the bed, and you're like, fuck. And as you're going to get out, you do realize that there is just like the corner of a piece of paper sticking out from the rug that is half under the bed.
Can
I
I
want
grab?
it.
Of course I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, of course you do. Gingerly, you slip it out and you find there is this piece of paper. Ooh, this is a cool piece of paper that you found. You see what stripped down, like not so much of the extra aesthetics, none of the like hair or blades or tail or anything like that, but a very, very basic exoskeleton model of P0xi, almost like a blueprint. Again, no hair, no serrated teeth, no claws. It's very like it's a little worn on the page. It's almost like the basic prototype. It's got notes in like the margin of like things that you don't understand, like artificer talk, basically.
Yeah.
Um, Pointing to like the chest and the arms and stuff like that. It's like possible armament modification. Power core is a C67 like power cell of a crystal, like all kinds of details. There's other notes in the margin that say like um, different models, and there's like little X's, but then like little notes about like what worked and didn't work with other models. And then on the back of the piece of paper, um, it scribes like a number of supplies that need to be delivered to uh like delivered to his laboratory,
Okay.
that he needs to remember to like tell someone, basically a shopping list of like, again, strange supplies you can't interpret, like very specific metals and crystals and magic shit. But it says it needs to be delivered. Like he needs these things to be delivered here to this outpost.
Okay. So I will put that away in my backpack in the safest place that I can, in between a couple of heavy things, or I don't know, a journal or whatever, so it's kept nice and safe.
Got it.
And then I will say to the pie, let me know when you're at the bottom door. I haven't checked downstairs, but upstairs is empty.
Got it. So add to your inventory, like we'll call it strange tool from like PCon, and then like a then write down like P0xi unit prototype blueprint
Yeah.
or something like that. Whatever you want to write down to help you remember what it is. Let's take a break. It's about half time. Let's take a break. 10-ish minutes whenever we all get back, and we'll return and unravel this
Very
strange
curious.
outpost. Very curious outpost we find ourselves in, huh? Okay.
Are you okay, babe? You want anything? Under duress, I take it. Or harassment, should I say.
Just draw on the screen. Oh my god, you can.
I was experimenting with that in the middle of the session. It shocked me that I could do that.
Zelace opens the door, and there, standing on the other side, is a tailless, clawless, hairless epoxy.
Oh goodness, that would be. I don't know if I would be less scared or more scared, because epoxy is already looking like a wacky idea of a beast.
And
But
depending on how far this goes, there could be some real horror angles here, not gonna lie. We find like an abandoned lab, and there's just like what look like inanimate epoxies around.
oh goodness. Hey, at least we can draw where we specify where we're gonna look.
Well, that's true, actually. Yeah, we can draw on the screen where we want to move to.
I'm gonna look in this area right here. Maybe not there actually. Probably in this tower.
Here, I'll give you an overview.
Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna make my way up here, and from this point onward, I'm going to flank the tower or the house. I'm gonna jump through a window. I'm kidding.
All right, I'm gonna summon a spectral steed and then just freaking book it.
I think I'm gonna check. This place looks really interesting. This tower hasn't been checked yet. This one's pretty good, but I wonder if there's tracks going like right up the street. So then
Oh,
I'll have to go back
dude!
and check that one right there.
Oh, what I'm gonna do is I'm
That
gonna
is too
misty
funny.
step up onto this, and then gonna ask Bisan to use Mage Hand on the rug, and I'll use Mage Hand on the rug, and we'll
Oh, give me one
show
moment.
them the world.
I want to see if I can use my drawing tablet on this.
Do you trust me?
You trust me?
Oh, always.
No, I gotta say, I was thinking about like, you gotta check out over here and like maybe around the market's good. The well probably should be checked out. But the tower that Zelace is at is really good. It might be good to circle back and like cut through the houses, and kind of, do something like that. That'd be really nice.
I was thinking of just going like full chaos mode though. Just, oh shit, it's gone. I was gonna go like here and look here.
Oh shit! Sorry, that was too fast. Got rid of it too quickly.
I have my drawing tablet out, and I'm gonna see if I can do a little sketch right here.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man. Oh. Oh.
That's fun.
Ah, shit. There's a guy left alive here that I didn't delete yet. It's like, please, sir. No, I just wanted to look out. I wanted to be a god. Please don't do it. Ah! Wait, chat him to get back and get to it. Hey, there he is. Okay, so let us circle back to our bar hopping party. You guys have investigated the tavern. What are you doing now?
We are going to the lace. I
Yeah.
would think.
Zelise is investigating an important building, but there's a big building right in front of us.
Oh,
That's
I
true.
can't just ignore that.
Want to check out the big building right in front of you?
I
Can
would like
climb
to
up
check the
tower.
big building right in front of us.
All right. So you guys can check that out. As usual, the doors are unlocked. There is a bit of like a sort of desk counter situation right here. Um, let's see here, but you can walk in easy enough, and you'll notice that there's more counters on the interior. Some of them are closed. I do not know why there's a fucking steam valve on my thing, but whatever. So yeah, you notice that's a little weird. This one place is locked. The doors are indeed locked here.
Ooh.
Oh, you don't say.
A locked door, you say? So it's like that. I mean, this front door here is locked.
Yeah, that door's locked. It seems that the interior of this tower is sealed.
Hmm.
There is also a barred door back here. This place is pretty locked up for some reason. This one building seems to be pretty locked up.
Joran, you did so well earlier. How do you fancy your chances of breaking this down?
I think I fancy them quite well. Show you, young pups, how it's done. And he is going to walk up to the door. And he's going to like put his shoulder to the door. He's going to try and knock this sucker down. He goes, and then he goes, and then he takes a little run at it. And he like jumps at the door and he and like falls to the ground. And he doesn't make the dog whining sound, but he does bounce off of the door. Kind of goes, ah, and like stands up and grips his shoulder. He doesn't manage to knock the door down, unfortunately. He goes, that fucking, ah.
Allow me
This is-
first, mate.
Go ahead.
All right,
I'm
athletics
gonna
check.
attack the door recklessly.
Okay, you're just going to try and kill the
Thank
door. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
God, I finally rolled good. 21.
21, you do beat the AC of this door. Go ahead and roll me some damage. This will be an unarmed strike, I assume. Unless you're using a weapon,
Yeah,
of course.
and I was thinking of punching the door. 11.
11. Let's see what the hit points of this place are. Damn, 11 damage is pretty good. You boom, slam your hand against the door, and your hand does like crack a portion of the door. It doesn't break it or create a hole, but you do a decent enough blow to it. Absolutely. Well, what you rolled a 4 for unarmed strike damage?
I rolled a 6.
A 6. You have. How are you rolling? Because usually unarmed strikes are just like flat strength.
Oh, sorry, I was using the claw.
Oh, so you're raging?
Yeah, I'll do it in this instance.
All right, you go into a rage, you claw the door, you stick your claws into the door. Give me another attack before the rage wears out.
Right on.
Advantage.
Oh God. 16 and damage.
16 will hit the door. Go ahead and roll damage, yes.
6 on that time.
6. Is this all including rage damage?
Oh, 8.
So an additional 4 damage, yeah. Okay. So that was 8, and then the other was 6, so that's 8 as well. So 16 damage. How's this door doing? How are we thinking this door's doing? The door is, for all intents and purposes, bloodied. You have you're like tearing into the door. There are big claw marks in the door, but this is a pretty resilient door. This door was meant to last.
It's time for the bear.
Yeah, the bear can either make an athletics check or an attack roll. It's your choice. The attack roll will be at advantage.
Okay, let me I did bring in the stat block up. Let me find it. Attack roll for sure.
All right, give me that multi-attack as he claws and bites the door.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got ooh. It's a 23 to hit on the bite.
23 to hit on the bite. That will hit the door. Go ahead and roll me some bite damage.
That's 8 bite damage.
Oh, he's like up in there biting the door. Go ahead and give me that claw attack, ripping boards out of the door.
It's a 19 to hit.
19 will hit. Roll me them claws.
And let's see. 2d6. 4. It's gonna be 12 damage.
Well, slashes into the door. And the door will. So P0xi and his bear just like, take this, fight back, come on, fight back. And you guys are having a battle with this door. The door's going. In the end, you don't break down the door, but I think between P0xi and the bear, you have made a large enough hole in the door that someone can then stick their hand in and like find the lock and like turn the key, or what have you, and unlock the door, and you guys are able to make your way in through the door finally. Its secrets shall be revealed to you. They definitely left a whole bunch of neat stuff in here. You find a rather empty space with a couple of papers loosely thrown about, a couple of boxes off to the side, some barrels under the stairs. Yeah.
Can I collect those papers?
Yeah, you collect those papers. They're mostly empty of information. Some of them have chaplain, maybe an investigation check. Let's see if you know what these papers are, because there is writing.
Okay. Ooh, I got a natural 18 for an 18.
Nice. You recognize that these are records of payment to the soldiers who were stationed here.
So there doesn't seem to be any information on them about the guy that were the doctor, right?
I will say, as part of your investigation, strangely not. You know that he was here,
right,
by the pictures on the wall, but officially on these like bank bill pages, there's no record of payment here. But you do see multiple names come up multiple times on these various pieces of paper. So like you should have been, probably.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna keep him anyway then.
Okay. Anyone who wishes to make their way upstairs. So yeah, you get the sense that this was like the payment house. This is where they paid the soldiers. Make your way upstairs to the balcony, where there's no lock whatsoever. And these doors are unlocked. You make your way through. You find like a little bedroom, and then you find. God, I don't know what this room is. This one was a little bit of abstract even to me when I found this board.
I rummaged through the barrels.
I'll say you simply find it's like a bit of it's an armory. It's basically like an armory and like maybe like a records thing. You rummage through the barrels. You find like stores of water and old rotten fruit. There is one chest. You open up P0xi and you find a single gold piece.
I will take it.
You do take it. Fantastic. There are also a number of like weapons over here. There's a suit of chainmail, and there is a number of weapons that include spears and short swords.
Wait, hang on. Oh no, it probably doesn't fit me. Oh, never mind. I have scale mail on anyway.
Yeah, that's what you find out. That's the pay house, and Obviously, they probably took great care to take everything out of the pay house when they left the elves.
There was a like a grated like gates down below, right?
There was indeed. Um, yeah, if you make your way down there, there's a couple of there's another empty box. But I will say that like as it's connected to up here, you get the
Yeah,
sense that that's where the guards would have come through or come out of. That's like
got
this
it.
is like a sort of toll house, payment house, barracks, so to speak.
Well, that's underwhelming.
But hey, there's great news because right across the street is the house that Zelais tells you to go to, and you guys do at this point.
Yes, we go.
Uh, sorry to make such an anticlimactic, abandoned place. There isn't
I got a
stores of
gold.
gold. You did get a gold. There aren't stores of golds and valuables they have left behind intentionally, unfortunately. But you get there. Um, what do you do?
I
We
inform
wait for his
Zealous, who are a
signal.
great mental connection. We're outside the door.
Okay, so I will leave the room that I'm in and make my way quietly down the stairs, please.
All right, make me a stealth check to do so quietly.
With pleasure. Nat 20 for a 29.
Nat 20 for 29. Woo! Stealthy as can be. No one could possibly detect your presence. Make your way down the stairs. You come into this room here, which again is largely empty. There's papers filed around here. There's an open window. You get the sense that it's the same sort of like security, like yeah, basically banker's window kind of thing. But a much more larger open space. It'll require some kind of investigation to know like what the purpose of this place was. But you do indeed find your way to the door. This door has a lock too, but since you're already on the inside, easy enough. You unlock it from this side just by pulling the latch, and you can let your friends in.
I will do so. I'll inform them as they're coming in that there's no one here at this moment that I can proceed, but I believe this is the main area where we need to be conducting our search.
Well then, let's turn this place upside down and see what we can find.
All right. Guys will head in there, tear everything upside down. There's one last door you guys haven't been through yet, which is also locked, which is this guy right here. You will notice that this is accurate. There is like a brick pulled out of the wall there, right near where the latch is. So I take it back. The door is unlocked, but it looks like it perhaps was locked at one point. And you guys can enter in there easy enough. To which you see it's another sort of like safety window, secured, deal with the outside people without having to worry about them. That leads upstairs, or has stairs that lead upstairs anyway. Oh, that didn't make any sense at all. Never mind, forget those stairs. I tried to go through and make sure everything made sense, and I missed a couple things. Apparently. Oh, that's a cool door. Sweet. Boom. All right, cool. Whoever's looking around and turning this place upside down and trying to figure out what its secrets may be, roll me an investigation check.
Okay, I will go to the table with the papers on that are near the door that I opened for them to come in.
Okay.
I will start there.
20.
The
20. The papers are largely scrap pieces of paper. Some of them have the old requisition orders on them. If you want to compare them to what you found upstairs, you will find like it's scattered through. There isn't one that's like one to one, but you do see scattered through. There are materials from the page you found scattered through these requisition forms, these old requisition forms. They would be dated a couple years ago.
Okay.
So still during the Unhuman War, but probably around like the beginning to middle of the war. So maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. I'll just gather up all the paperwork that we can. Is there
Okay.
any drawers or anything like that on that station that I'm at?
No drawers, unfortunately. It's just a table.
Okay, then once I've collected that, I'll just move further into the room and wait for the rest.
Got it. And I'll say at this point, like, there's no chair there or anything. You get the sense that the purpose of this window is probably for like quick handoffs, and nothing more. And you go further into the room. Who else is
Check
making
for
investigations?
traps, just in case.
Oh, check for traps. Sure, investigation.
Before I go any further.
Got it. Yep, investigation, that one.
Oh, 6.
This place is safe and sound, my friend. Safe and sound.
I thought so.
Who else is taking a look around? Who else has got investigations?
5.
5
I've got
after
a
your 13? Chaplain?
Yeah, 13.
Basson?
Got a 15.
15. So we'll say you guys are following Zalace along, and maybe we'll say Ethrith, you went to like check upstairs to see if there's anything Zalace missed, and Zalace was very thorough, and you're like, okay. Chaplain, you're in this room with Zalace actively looking around. You're not finding too much in here. Basson, you go in here, you're looking around. You find all these pieces of paper. What are these ones? These ones are just like, they look like personal letters. Like maybe this was like a mail station where it's like stuff is blacked out on the form, but it's like addressed to Trill for the most part. And then some other places are addressed to like the moon of like this place, so like off to the far world moon of Garden and so on and so forth. That are like, hey, how's it going? I'm blank, blank, blank. Hope you're doing well. How's the kids? You know, that kind of thing. Uh, hmm. I'll say, yeah, because of how it is. I will say with your investigation, you will notice that some of the papers are a little pushed in this direction a little bit, as if there is, how do I describe it? How best to describe it? They're kind of scattered everywhere, but there is like stuff missing from this side of the table. So there's like a plate and pieces of paper. The further you go to the right of the desk, the more barren the desk becomes of just debris and content. I saw P0xi's hand. I want to hit you real quick before I return to you, Basson. Yes, P0xi.
Instead of checking inside, can I check the perimeter and see if there's any more activity around there?
Yeah,
That
make
side?
me. Sure, sure. Are you like in? You looking for tracks, or are you looking for like? Are you like deducing something?
Tracks.
Survival, then, please and thank you.
Oh, nat 20.
Nat 20. Nat 20, nat 20, nat 20. We love a nat 20, don't we?
I'm looking for these guys.
Natural 20.
something.
For total? Total of?
Sorry.
All
What
good?
was it again?
Right.
Survival.
Survival. Yeah, that's just regular 20 then.
Regular 20. You see tracks. Very like difficult to detect them. Like you don't sense that a lot of traffic has gone around the perimeter. But enough that is shown itself. You see that there is consistent tracks around the perimeter of this building that are that range from like maybe like an hour old to 2 days old. And then at that point, it gets a little too hard to detect anything past that. But there are tracks at least as old as 2 days and as new as an hour. You will find the similar footprints that Zalace has found.
Do they go inside more often than around the building?
No, it is equal. In and out.
I'll relate to the party that the freshest set of tracks we've got is from an hour ago.
Okay. So as you have that information, you're proceeding inside to relay it. Hassan, we will return to you now. What do? You seem to have ideas.
I would like to investigate the weird side of the table more and
Okay.
maybe call Zalace over. Wait, Zalace isn't even here, so I guess maybe call Etheridge over.
In the other room.
Lace is in the other room. You call him over.
Yeah.
Okay. Calls Lace over.
What's up?
Kind of pokes at the table and said, "This is weird," and sort of it's not. And he just kind of taps at the table.
Okay, so obviously I'll just go down and have a look around, and can I see if there's anything like a keyhole that represents the strange item, the piece of metal that I found upstairs? Or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. Make me a investigation check. Lots of investigating. Sherlock Holmes moments.
Come on. 13.
13. I'm going to give you advantage, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Go ahead and roll again.
That was even worse. 11.
Lemon. Sorry, my friend. You look around the table for anything out of the ordinary, and you do not find it.
Can I try and just push the front, as in not the lid, not the top of the table, but the front and the side of that portion?
Yeah,
Just to
sure.
see if it's, and I mean only lightly, just to see if it gives way a little bit.
The front here, you kind of push on the panel, see if anything happens. There's nothing. You push on the side panel. What's your passive investigation? Give me that one.
18.
18. Push on it. It doesn't give, but you notice that there is a sound difference when you like firmly lay your hands on it. It's very slight. You don't think it's hollow or anything on one side, nothing like that, but you do sense that there is probably something behind the wall facing panel over here.
Okay.
Like this panel's like a trap,
Yeah.
like a fake. Yeah.
So I'll check to see if there's anything that looks vaguely like a trap or something like that. I'll check for traps. Yeah.
Okay. Make me an investigation check.
I'll roll a dice for this one. Let's go. 18 on the dice, so that's 21.
21. Okay. On this side of the panel, you find two things. You find that there is a very small, it's not even a switch. I mean, it's how do I put it? When it's technically like a sliding latch. Like it's a very, very small, like in the actual grain of the thing. So it doesn't indent in any way, but you could like slide it to the right. So it's a switch. It's more like a switch.
Uh-huh.
And you could like slide it slightly to the right if you wished to. The second is that you notice that the right leg of like the sort of decorated leg here is loose. Like it comes off ever so slightly. Like if you wanted to, you could probably like push it. Um, you don't detect any active traps, but you notice these two strange features in the design.
I will slide the little bit over, but I'll just say to Basson, don't know about this. I don't see any traps, but just in case, just make sure you're not about. And I'll slide the little bit across.
Okay. You nothing happens. No traps go off, but nothing happens.
Does it look like there's anything in there that fits in there, or is it just like, as in, like, is there like a switch or a key port or something like that in there?
You peek your head under, and indeed, it is revealed that there is a small keyhole that's sort of, if this is the flat of the table, there's like a little keyhole now that's been revealed. Yes.
I will take the piece that I found upstairs and I will see if it fits.
You fit that in there, and it seems to be a direct fit, and you can pull it like a latch at this point, and this wall is going to, it's not going to or anything like that. It's not going to make any great sounds, but it just sort of loosens. It sort of like just slightly comes ajar, and you recognize that that is like a fake stone wall, and is actually a door, and it just sort of unlatches and goes slightly ajar.
So before doing anything, I'll just say to the rest of the group, obviously, Efrith in the mind and gather everybody. We're in this room. I found an entrance.
And there's a stairway that leads down. The whole party gathers. Griffin says, I'm gonna, I should watch all of your backs. Yes, tis a good party building. I will stay out here.
Um, well, I think that is a most astute and well thought out suggestion, Miss Sir Broadleaf. I have to ask, how will we identify the tools you require if you are not present?
Oh, um, looks around. Um, aha, yes, the rat. Yes, taketh the rat, and I shall see through the eyes of the rat. And when I see the items most necessary, I can send one of mine friends as a messenger to tell you what I require. Fear not, I will definitely have enough magic to ensure that this is possible. Yes.
All right, come on, Ratley.
Ratley goes and like jumps up on your shoulder, and uh, you see Griffin is like looking at like bleeding in his eyes of like, please like be okay with this plan.
I'll slowly head down the stairs, but checking everything that's as I'm going down, just to make sure there's no tripwires or false steps or anything like that.
Another investigation check, the skill of the of the section, I suppose.
That'll be a 16.
16. Steps look fine. You will find more evidence of trips and traps that have gone activated in the past, but no longer active. No blood though. You do find some like holes in the wall that might suggest more deadly traps, but you find no signs of blood. Whoever came through here and sort of tripped through, well, either evaded it or took damage in a way, but their bodies might not produce blood. You're not sure which.
Don't bleed.
You don't bleed.
Like, I'll go down the stairs.
All right, head down the stairs. Sweet. Just to be sure, the bear and lion are staying out. It's a little. You could bring them if you wanted to, Chaplain. It would be a little bit of a squeeze down the stairs, but they could if you wanted.
No, I think I'm gonna leave him outside with the druid to make sure he's okay. There's still something wandering around outside there, as far as we know.
Fair enough. All right. And the rest of you guys will head downstairs, Halden and Jordan. You head down. Incredible. Thema Laurel kind of have like a
If you get attacked,
as you guys go down.
if,
It's kind of
you know where to find
spooky.
us.
And gets a little
to go into.
Okay. Okay. Indeed. goodbye, my friends. Be safe, be careful, and don't need me. And he'll happily stay outside where it's a little more open aired. Yeah, you're getting. I will say, those of you who have traveled this point, you're starting to get a sense that he has a pretty deep claustrophobic problem. So he likes the outside. Okay, so let's head down into the spooky basement. I don't want to show them the cool stuff I have planned. Okay. Oh no! Don't look. Hang on.
Look at what?
Exactly.
Holy.
Let me get a marching order, and then we will proceed.
Yeah,
I
I'm at
would
the front.
like to stay behind Zalace if he's going first.
Okay, so we've got Zalace. Oh, I had a complete brain fart there for a second. Okay, Zalace, Apox, behind Zalace. Who can show up at any point now? There we are. Who is behind Apox? San. Fantastic. Feel free to volunteer the NPCs if you have a care to. Who's next?
Etherith, come on, get in the front.
Etherith will, with his shamefully low health points, yeah, sure, he'll stand squarely in the middle of the group, I guess.
Well,
Fair enough.
To be fair, I'm most probably no better than what you are.
We'll
I'm a
put
sorcerer.
Jorn.
I'm very squishy.
We'll put
goodness.
Jorn and Dame Alara behind you. Go in there, yeah, we lass. All right. Broadleaf is outside. Ed is not here. I think that's everybody, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's everybody. And also a rat. Not to forget the rat. Okay. About a moment, if you'd be so kind. Almost there, folks. Where are they? Here we are. And okay, let's hop to it. Screen share coming on. So you guys make your way down the spooky stairs. And you make your way into the spooky basement.
Goodness.
And you will be greeted by sounds that kind of ring in your sensors a little bit there. Sorry, we're just making some adjustments that will ring in your sensors, Apoxy. Somehow familiar. Your basically your sensors say like ambient recognition, processing. So there's something here in your memory banks that are sort of being stimulated, recalling. You get the sense you've been here before. You hear the sound as you make your way through. You open these big metal doors that look to have been locked at one point, but the actual door knobs and handhold looks to have been violently ripped off. Yeah, Zalace?
I'm just about to say, oh, you can go first. It's
By all
fine.
means.
It does look like the Terminator showed up and just stuck his hand into the metal and ripped out the door, the metal door handle lock situation. It kind of looks.
How tall is the ceiling?
In the staircase, not that tall. Once you walk into here, it gets a lot higher.
Okay, I will grab the sides of my cloak and just fly up and be as high as I possibly can be, so I can see up high. So I'm not.
We'll put you up. We'll put you up 10 feet for now. Well out of unless they jump out of melee range.
Yeah.
But they might get higher as you go deeper in. But you guys walk through Epoxy now in the front and Basan close behind.
I'll stay at
Um,
the front, as in above them at the front. If
oh
you know.
sure, but you're 10 feet in the
Yeah.
air, so yeah. Okay, you guys proceed in, and I will swing the camera around so you can see what you see. You see a strange arcane engine before you, and more than that, you do see figures working and moving around. There's, but to describe the scene first, very concrete stairs, fiery lanterns. It seems like this is almost like a great furnace or smithy that is indeed alight. There are gadgets and gizmos, tubes, boxes and crates full of strange materials. This is an active workshop of magic of some kind. And more than that, you see creatures that look a lot like Epoxy walking around. Similar to your designs that you found, Zalice. No claws attached to the arms, no like retracted tail under the shoulder blades, no voracious teeth or hair or changes in aesthetic. There's no intense amount of armor that Epoxy has. This is almost like the bare bones of Epoxy. Like you stripped away all of like the warrior military bestial stuff. This is them. These are like Epoxy's exoskeletons. And they look identical as they walk around and frankly don't look entirely like they know what they're doing. Some of them are like turning valves and a fire will flare out and like this flame will like hit one of the robots in the face and it'll be like, nope, turn it off, not good. And it looks like they're trying to basically figure out what all this does and they're like experimenting. But they don't look like they have any clue what they're doing in this space. But as you approach, their attention will very quickly turn, and they will speak newcomers, outsiders, unexpected, and they will sort of like they won't get violent, but they certainly turn their attention and look in all of your directions, and hands certainly sort of intensify on various old rusty weapons, great axes and spears and such. But you find yourself in a laboratory of some kind. What do you do?
Oh, good. They're not immediately hostile. Perfect. And
Mentally to Epoxy, I will say, you need to talk to these people. These are your kin. But be gentle and be safe. Do not cause any trouble because I do not think that this pie will survive.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to start a fight in a lair.
One of them. Oh, go ahead.
I speak out. I bring guests, not intruders.
One of them will step forward as they all look at each other and they say, and they'll say like, what do they say? They all look at each other and they start like almost like whispering like normal people would, but they do it very like in the same monotone level of volume as if they just don't have, they can't whisper. They don't know how to whisper. They go advanced epoxy units, strange, what was it doing here? And they all just like begin to talk to each other and they seem to regard you as like an advanced epoxy unit. They'll say personality modulators, envy, like things like that. And one of them will sort of walk forward and seem to like speak for the rest of them. Some of them kind of like moving a little bit forward just protectively. And this one only seems to be maybe more interesting by the grace that it holds a shield and like a slightly nicer longsword. And that seems to be the what marks it. You'll also notice that it has like in its chest, it has like a single line marked there. And as you look around at the other identical units, one has 2 lines, one has like a V and then a line in front of it, and just like very roughly scratched in by like a tool of some kind. This one will speak and says, I am Unit 1. I shall speak for the exo units present. You are advanced P0xi units. What do you mean to do here? Are you hostile in intention?
Nothing like that. We real quick. I forgot why we were here.
Looking
we
for
were
Dr.
looking for
Wininski.
we're looking for our maker.
They all, they do say like Wininski, classified, Wininski, and they all speak to each other and goes, files on Wininski's current whereabouts are classified.
We are going through his various notes to see where else he could have been or gone to.
And
Says,
I'll say in P0x's head, we're also looking for some equipment that we can use to save the Kindorei. And hopefully the rat will be able to find her.
And if you'd be so kind, we'd like to look at some supplies here in the laboratory, it seems.
It will make me personality check. make me a
I have that.
yeah, I guess so. Make me a persuasion check. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me ask first before you tell me what you rolled. Do you have deceptive, hostile intentions, or are you truthfully mean to like come in peace and just want to look around?
Truly just look around.
Okay, yes, then persuasion check, absolutely.
Oh no. I got a total of 5.
A total of 5. The entity, who has referred himself as to Unit 1 Exopoxy Unit, or Exopoxy Unit 1, sorry, all very technical, and says, you bring a large host with you, well armed, dangerous.
We thought it would be crawling with monstrosities as we've been through many troubles getting here.
They look around confused at monstrosities on premises. No monstrosity. It says, where do you come from? Are you from this planet?
Would I know that? Would I know where I was?
Well, you know that you haven't. You don't know if you were built here, but you know that you haven't
Where
been
did I
traveling
regain
here solely.
consciousness?
You regain consciousness on a planet, and I will tell you that.
It was that one trading planet where we got the
yeah.
Weaver.
This would have been one of the moons of Glyph. Let me just tell you what that.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, Mingabwe. You were reactivated on the moon of Mingabwe off of the planet Glyph.
Oh, it's Glyph. Okay. I cannot tell you where I was made, but I gained consciousness the moon of Glyph.
Unprecedented, and they speak to him. They're sort of like uncertain. Says, what is your unit number? What is your serial code?
Would I know?
What's your name?
Oh, just P0xi.
They all look around at each other, uncertain. Make me another persuasion check because you're answering their questions and not seeming hostile despite appearances.
I'm gonna choose a different
At this
dice.
point, I will drop down and I won't fly because obviously I don't want to be antagonistic. So
Understood.
I was 1 away from a nat 20. I got a total of 9.
um. Damn, man.
I am rolling terribly.
I will be fair, and I will have him roll an insight check and see if he can make up for your loss. But I will warn you, these guys are not very socially adept, so we'll see. This unit will say, if we ask you to leave the premises of which we reside upon, will there be violence?
Who's connected in the whispers?
I am.
we are. Yeah, it's the three of us.
I can take over any time if you feel like this is out of your depth. I'm a great conversationalist.
Please stand by my side.
I step forward then. I don't think this shall come to violence, friends. I am Etherith. I am the acting first mate of the Dawn's Eclipse. And I had some... We won't press further onward if you don't wish us to, but I did have some queries. One, regarding Dr. Wininski, is there a condition that needs to be satisfied for that information to be unclassified?
He'll say, reason for query 1, reason for classification, unknown.
And is there a way to unclassify it? Some condition that needs to be satisfied?
Conditions unknown.
Just absolutely full of answers. We've come here.
It will say, we do not have many answers, but also possess many queries. Thus, why we are trying to understand the inner workings of our creators.
How long has this place been populated only by constructs such as yourself?
Its eyes sort of like flicker, like it's accessing information. And it says, time since installation abandonment, 6 months, 6 months, 3 weeks, 4 days, 17 hours.
6 months. Just for like my own memory's sake, that's when did the war end?
That would have been shortly after the end of the war.
Okay.
Thereabouts, like close, pretty much around the end of the war. I'm
So-
forgetting all the numbers I just gave you, so don't quote me. I've already forgotten. Like 14 hours. It was like whatever. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
My understanding, this was once an Elven Armada outpost, and naturally the place has been abandoned and had most of its important supplies taken away. But I must say, I'm rather puzzled that they would leave behind such impressive technology as all of you.
You're confused to just stare at you. It was just like sort of a comment, and there's no question to be at,
Why were you left behind?
Query unknown.
Sorry, Etheris, can I ask a question?
Go ahead. They're quite forthcoming. If
Number one, if we wanted to find out where epoxy was made and when she was brought online and what her designation is, how would we do that?
It looks at Epoxy and says, "You come for knowledge on your creation."
Yes.
Yes.
We also seek information as to purpose of our creation. We were activated here. We were left here. We do not know our purpose.
Can I slowly start walking down the stairs, but pulling epoxy with me, so that we're just slowly walking down the stairs?
It's hard to tell because they're literally robot faced and don't possess emotion. But in this moment, you understand that they're scared of Epoxy. Perhaps that's the explanation for why the persuasion checks haven't been working out. As Epoxy takes that first step down, very robotically, they prepare, enter a battle stance.
Epoxy is not here to threaten you or help. We want to know just as much as what you do. We found epoxy on a planet in a cryotube of types. When we activated her, she had no memory. And there's been times where, we've been trying to help her regain some and trying to figure out how we can help. Maybe if you help us, we can help you gain some knowledge as to what's been going on.
Maybe persuasion check.
I also have a first few leads as to where we got our parts from.
It's the one. What'd you roll?
Not 20.
Yeah.
That
They all
considered
sort
of-
itself like a
21.
help action.
21. They so we'll say as they entered battle stances, their eyes went yellow. And I think Epoxy you get that as like preparing, basically martial standby is kind of what that color means. And as you do this, all of their eyes in sync begin to sort of slightly flicker as if they're transferring information. You get the sense there's some kind of hive mind they all share, but they're all on the same radio frequency basically. And then their eyes sort of re-alight, and then they go white once more, and they and they say, if the Epoxy unit seeks information about the creator, we also seek information about the creator. Goals aligned. Forces perhaps join.
We can keep our party to a minimum, but I will ask that Etherith and the song and a fellow I'm really sure you're going to enjoy, Shapley, that they come forth, and the rest of the party can just wait up here if that's okay, if you don't want too many people. I don't want you to feel like we're threatening. And I'll make sure that all of my weapons are put away and hidden and stuff like that.
It says, we do not feel, though we were trying to be very technical. It says, we do not feel, but survival instinct inputted, synchronization of information between two parties, acceptable. You may enter. All.
I would like to add, I know Wininski got our inner parts from Evermeets.
You see all of their eyes sort of flicker, and it says, information inputted, gratitude.
Right on.
Right on.
So where is the rat at the moment?
I
Just
imagine
so,
on Chaplin's shoulder, probably.
Mm-hmm.
so I'll just turn to Chaplin and just say, look, let's not play any pranks while we're here. Keep it nice and calm. No animals apart from the rat. Just have a slow walk around so that the rat can see, which then gives our druid a chance to see what we need, and then we can bargain for things. We really need to play this very cool. Are you okay with it?
Sure, sounds like fun.
Oh god.
The the robot looks at you, Chaplin, who I realizing is not in the party right now, and I apologize.
That's okay.
As you approach with the rat on your shoulder, it says, "Wire eater detected.
Wow.
Termination if required." Query.
I'm
Like,
sorry,
I
what was
can't
that? I
use
missed it.
It looks at you, Chaplin, and at the rat on your shoulder, and it says, "Wire eater detected. Extermination possible if required." Query.
no.
He's with us.
He's friendly. He's here to take a look and help us get some answers that we're looking for, just like you.
New category, wire eater, pet.
I guess in the meantime, since you have so many questions, would you like to inspect my my person?
Yes.
I-
And he will have you brought over. They don't really know how this place works, so they're probably going to bring you over to like this little station here. And as you look over again, it's like levers and tubes and like stands of strange metals and tools and things that are just like beyond your understanding. Pieces of paper with like technical readouts on them that you're just like don't really understand. And two units will sort of like walk over to you, and in a very like non-emotional, very just like cold, like they're not terribly empathetic creatures. They just like made the offer, and now they're accepting the offer, and it's very black and white, and they immediately just start like putting their hands on you and just like not violently in any way, definitely in the way that like is like your circuits and your hardware should work, but start kind of not kind of start taking you apart, not fully, not like disabling you in any way or shape or form, but start immediately like going into your circuitry very like invasively and very like coldly without like emotional concern for your like levels of consent, but just start
I see
kind
the
of like
problem.
yeah, maybe you don't care either. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, you're like, all these people have probably been like, is it okay if I do this? I check over here. And they're like very sensitive. These guys don't care. They're just like, you have agreed. They don't get the middle ground. They don't get the gray. So they just start like pulling switches and levers and like unscrewing
this-
bolts and just sort of
Is
start
this
looking through
similar
you.
to your own design?
They start.
Sorry, I'd like to be over by that area watching,
Yeah, sure.
in having a sly look around at the books and stuff that's around on the tables and stuff like that to see whether I can pick anything up.
Yeah, sure. You start going around and they seem largely focused on you. Again, they're very black and white. They're like Unit 1 has said like synchronization of information between the two parties is acceptable. So in a very black and white sense, they're like not focused on you now. Now you have their implicit trust. Or not, at least not in a way that they're like watching you still so cautiously. I'll come to you in a second there, Athreth, noted. But yes, Zelace, you could like peek around, look through here, look through there, make me an investigation check.
Oh crap! 6.
6. You're looking around, and it's the same thing where like you have entered the world of like a gnomish artificer of advanced quality, where you're like, you see all kinds of stuff where you're like, this is probably very relevant and important. I have no fucking clue what any of this means or what's more important than other. And they're they're going through you P0xi. You say like, you asked, are they similar to your design? They will make like certain like open queries and notes about the way you're formed, and they will note that you are much like your hardware and software is like far more sophisticated and advanced, but they will note that you're like down in your like not exoskeleton, but like down in your like deep hardware, you are very similar to they are, and we'll note that. It's also worth noting that these guys also put out there, they're armored in like pretty much whatever they could strap themselves. Some of them have like literal just like scrap metal plates like bolted to their fronts. Some of them have like thick leathers just sort of like folded around portions of their body. They've like basically like scrapyarded themselves to have like a little bit of and they just know P0xi that your unit is far more advanced in design, far more battle capable, and they'll be interested to analyze your software more thoroughly when you would allow, or when it becomes possible. Though at this time they do not know how to actually do that other than observation, but they will immediately note that your personality and probably combat software at the very least, it is immediately apparent that you are miles more advanced than these guys are. They'll also put forth that they're capable of learning, but it is difficult to learn from blank slates, because they are all just blank slates. So they have no, like, it's sort of like a 0 times 0 kind of thing. It's like, you can't learn personality from something that has no personality. So they say like they have been installed with like learning capabilities and software, but they have not had the opportunity to utilize those. I want to tail away super quick. We're going to come back to P0xi, I promise, if you have stuff to do. But Etherith, you had your hand up a moment ago. What did you want to do?
I wanted to first sort of communicate to Zalus telepathically that keep an eye out for anything of value. I'm not about these things are.
You were just here laughing in his head. Are you stupid? How dare you? Yes, sorry. Yes, boss. I will keep my eye out.
Good, good. Because looking at these things, they seem to be lesser incarnations of our crewmate. It might be easier to handle than we first thought.
Okay. I'll make sure you're at the front of the line if they do, because I don't speak.
We're not going to comment on that, but I want to run an investigation to see if I can spot anything that's particularly valuable or useful.
Okay.
That is a dirty 20.
Probably like, other than the actual floor, the stone floors and walls, maybe even them, because they have stuff like built into them that is mechanical. Probably 90% of everything in here is very valuable. The trick is that a lot of it is built into the structure. Like if you scrapped this place, you could probably like get a pretty penny out of it. But that's probably not where the value lies. As for like loose goods and materials, I don't know why there's a fucking pumpkin. Sorry, I couldn't get my eye off of it.
Yeah.
I've been staring the whole time.
Yeah,
I almost commented on it earlier.
where did the pumpkin come from?
And I'm like, why is there pumpkins everywhere? What the fuck? You do know that, like, loosely speaking, the first thing that you sorcerer, sort of mage-minded, there are shelves of books. Books can be very valuable if they have sort of like, depending on their context, can be very valuable, easier to transport. With that high check, you sort of like have a cha-ching moment, and you see this like smeltering furnace in the back that apparently has pies in it, which I'm going to delete. It looks almost like an incinerator, but there is like piles of golds and gem in there, and you're like, oh, money, and then you'll see, and so, it doesn't destroy it all, to be very clear. Some of the gold does begin to sort of like droop, and you get the sense that this machine is like melting that treasure pile down.
Okay,
Just so
so-
you don't, you're not aware of this, Celeste. You're not aware of this. This is the Etherith thing. I know. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Sorry to do it to you. Etherith is aware of this, but you're a little focused on P0xi situation. But yeah, and then there's other loose stuff around here too. But those would probably be the things that stick out most immediately to you on just like a haphazard investigation.
I like nudge Bisan and just gesture to that incinerator, and I'm like, move the gold away from the heat.
Okay.
All right.
So you
Bisan
make
will
your way
get on
down.
it.
Yep, you make your way over there. Chaplain, I saw a hand.
Yeah. Chaplin is going to try to create somewhat of a distraction while also doing his job. So it's going to cast mirror image so that there's multiple chaplains.
Okay.
And then he's going to say, "This is my friend Ratley. He's not going to chew any wires at all. So but he would be very interested in seeing anything that the good doctor left behind. Could a number of you kind of show us around and so that we can look at some of the tools and equipment?" And he'll just start wandering off in the other direction, opposite the direction of the basically where everybody else is with the smelting and all that.
You do go. You're like, hey, look at me, haha, over here. And the one basically goes, duplication equipment installed, possible use of possible Dr. Wenensky design. And then another one goes, unlikely. Then it goes, yes, unlikely. And you, basically is like self-manufacturing possibility 0.0079. And
Right.
and you start wandering over there, and this one says like, query noted, and that individual will sort of walk off with you. Again, very robotic. Like you're like entertaining, and some people will be like, "Wow, that's crazy," but they're just like analyzing like possibility of you know what I mean. Like it's very
Right.
like they haven't really figured out what entertainment is yet and how to enjoy it,
Right.
probably. But you start heading over there, and one of them does indeed sort of like follow you at your request.
All right, and I will
gonna-
legitimately begin looking or trying to like cover as much ground and as many items as possible for the rat to look at so that Griffin can get his eyes on some stuff.
Got it. Your DC is going to be lower because you're just kind of like being the rover for the rat. So make me an investigation check just to like make sure that you're thorough and get the rat in every possible position.
Well, it's a good thing it was lower because I got a 5.
Maybe not as thorough.
Except then I used inspiration and I got a 15.
A 15. Okay, yeah, I set the DC at 10. You make your way around, and you're sure to like like you're doing like a fucking video of like your new apartment. You know,
Right.
you just make sure that you like thoroughly, slowly scan every section, every place.
Just holding up Ratley like, hey guys, how's it going?
Ratley's my GoPro. I'm gonna put him on my head like a GoPro.
Your GoPro. You're like, what up, Griffin? What's going on? This is Chaplin.
Oh
and
my
like,
goodness.
Rat, and the rat's like looking around. That's incredible. That's hilarious. Very Chaplin too. What up? It's not so bad down here. I'm gonna tail back to Basan and give Basan a fair shot. Basan, you walk over to this machine. I'll say like one of the dudes like comes over out of interest for what you're doing. Less like I'm guarding you, and more like because they're in their mind we're synchronizing information right now, so they want to learn from you. So you walk over to this furnace where like maybe once every 10 seconds it just shoots down like a flamethrower of heat into the gold and slowly begins to droop. And this one sort of walks up over to you, and it says identification unit 4. Query, do you understand this technology?
save asset, and then she'll just start scooping gold.
Make a persuasion check. Or intimidation check, your choice, depending.
Oh my goodness.
Save asset. Incredible.
It
Speak
won't.
their fucking...
It won't matter, but it was a 19 on the dice.
No, it will.
It's still just a 19.
Oh, just a 19? You're like,
Yeah.
save asset and start scooping gold out of the flame. And the unit goes, by the creator. And starts like also, let's start shoveling it out. Because it's like, because you've given it the idea that like, this is important knowledge or something like that to their creation. And you got, I want you to make me a sleight of hand check to basically like time this to make sure you don't get incinerated.
Oh, good. No, that's great. I love that. I do. That's not bad. Sleight of hand, I think that's my dex. That's gonna be a +5. It's an 18 on the dice. 18 plus 5. 23.
23. Yeah, you start scooping, and it will like immediately start scooping in like synchronized with you, and it does so with like franticness. And it's going, must save asset, and you guys start scooping it out. And the fire, and it, relevant, and it starts like scooping it out, completely monotone, but in physicality, it's basically like, no, like in physicality, but in its words, it's like, must protect assets. And you guys managed to scoop out, like pretty much like 90% of it gets out before it's destroyed.
Oh my goodness.
And it turns to you and says,
She says to it,
it says,
gratitude.
Oh, I know what it says. Yeah, you say gratitude, and it says, right on, gratitude.
I picked that up from our captain.
Yeah. Broken telephone all the way down here. Yeah, but it scoops all of the gems and gold out, and you'll have a small little collection of gold and stuff. I will tell you the value of what you have saved in just a moment here. Well, I mean, I'll tell you the value of it if you just convince them. Yeah, exactly. As of now, they believe that it's important to them somehow. So, goddamn fucking pumpkins. You know what? I'm leaving them. I think
you know what? It's a thing now.
I think
They're
the doctor.
everywhere.
I think Doctor.
It was
Wazinski
Halloween before they left.
I think Dr. Wazinski had a particular. He was a big pumpkin spice guy. Big
That's why it's
pumpkin
right by
spice
the
guy.
fire.
It will look to you and say gratitude. Right on. Purpose of asset query.
Acquisition of other assets.
Noted. And it will, and its eyes like flicker as it's like taking that information and then coming to understand, like, down at it and says, what does it say? Value of economic status. 1, 2, 3. It starts counting each coin individually. And we'll start working on that. As it realizes, start counting every coin individually.
Non-mulleted.
Fantastic. It'll be busy for a while. What's anyone else up to? If anything.
I mean, I sort of watched all of that happen, and I was like, I was sort of hoping she'd use her mind powers, but I guess that works too. I go check the books.
You go check the books. Ilara and Jorn will go with you. Ilara starts talking to one of them and goes, how long have you been here? I love your hide armor. It's very nice. Where did you get it? And it'll just like, she's like just genuinely trying to make friends. She's trying to just like be a friend to this person. And it's like very coldly, just like answering her questions, though she doesn't seem to mind too much. And Jordan will go with you as you start poking through the books, and Jordan goes, so I had a thought. You know how remember we saw that turtle ship, and it had all the auto gnomes on it.
Yep, I do recall that. I was disappointed that they couldn't be eaten because they were made of metal. God, the memories I have from being a mindless beast are strange.
Right, you were a actual dragon at the time. I was going to say that was concerning. Anyway, my point being is, I mean, they don't even seem to know what gold is. I mean, it seems like I don't want to sound crass or anything, but I mean, we've got a little extra crew members here. Apparently, you might not have to pay them that much either if you didn't want to. I mean, we probably should, but they don't seem to understand it, at least in the midterm. You were running to get a bigger ship after all, and I don't know, just thought I'd put it out there.
That might actually be a very good idea.
I mean, they're not doing anything useful down here, it seems. They've been here for 6 months, and they don't even know how this place works.
I go over to the one that's got like the Unit 1, I guess.
Yeah, you go to Unit 1, who's just continuing to like stand in the middle. You go up to Unit 1, and it turns and says, "Query."
Yes, query. Have you ever considered leaving this place?
Yes, all possibilities have been considered. Subroutines, desire, understanding of circuitry. This place, knowledge to be gained.
Do you have a subroutine that asks service of you to help to provide aid or, I don't know, to work for others?
Error, missing data banks. This unit is incomplete. Subroutines installed. Purpose unknown. Subroutines missing.
What if I gave you purpose?
Query. To what purpose would you prescribe?
We are the crew of a ship known as the Dawn's Eclipse, and we could use extra hands to manage it. We would be willing to offer this purpose to you aboard our ship as crew members.
It sort of like looks at you and says, to what benefits would the P0xi units gain from leaving?
The opportunity to explore the universe. There's a wide, almost infinite world out there. And if you want any hope of finding the good doctor, this would be your best shot. And this would also mean you'd be able to accompany the advanced unit.
Make a persuasion check.
Ah. I'm going to use inspiration on this.
Okay.
27.
27.
Oh
Its
my.
eyes sort of flicker, and it looks at you for like 20 seconds, and to a point where you're like, "Are you like, what's going on here?" And then it will sort of walk past you to where P0xi is like partially taken apart, and we'll say to you, P0xi, and it says, "Query to advanced unit P0xi."
Query indeed.
And it kind of like tells us it doesn't understand the response.
I don't know either.
entirely. And it goes, offer made by, points at Athereth as it doesn't No. Secondary query, unit number, and points at Ethrith.
Just Ethereth.
Unit Etherith has offered P0xi units purpose aboard ship to, quote, explore the universe and, quote, accompany advanced P0xi unit. Query, P0xi unit seeks information about Creator.
Yes, I have been.
You may make a persuasion check. I'll give you advantage for Etherith's exceptional help in this regard.
Oh, not 20.
Yes.
You see all of the various units in the room, their eyes once more sort of flicker, synchronized. All of their eyes sort of like go dim and like flicker in the exact same way in perfect synchronicity across the entire room. Even the one that's counting the coins just like pauses in coin counting. It's like 134, 130. As they all seem to be like sharing information amongst themselves. And then it all sort of, their like eyes light up again, and Unit 1 will say, right on, we shall accompany you aboard
Right
the
on.
Dawn's Eclipse ship, right on. And all the other
Right on.
units all at once go, right on, in like a chorus.
Right on.
It says, error, no voice volume modulator installed.
You can inspect mine later.
Gratitude. Query, what does right on mean?
It's like saying yes.
Right on. And it seems that the P0xi units will be added to your crew.
Yay.
We're gaining an army.
I believe that's 7 new crew members, folks.
You do not need to be paid or fed. That's huge.
Don't need to
Don't
be
have to
paid,
be
fed.
fed.
Well, okay, wait a minute. I still need to get paid.
They
I
also
don't
don't
have to
need.
be
upgrades.
Fed.
They also
That's
don't need to be
huge.
housed, as they just kind of stand there when they're asleep. So this is a pretty big.
They
That's
can
a
join
big
me in the storage.
They're also not fully like, obviously they're not as advanced as P0xi. They're not like complete in their build, but these are combat units. Like their clearly original design was for combat. So
We could arm them. We could like get them extra gear.
yep. Yes, Lace.
So once the number ones come over, I'll turn to him and say, is it possible that you can have, you were talking about personality earlier. Is this something you wish to have?
Could you say that again, sorry?
You were talking about personality earlier. Is that something that you wish to have?
It says we would desire to fulfill our subroutine tasks, such as advance personality modulators. We'll learn as experience with other creatures of sufficient charisma.
Okay.
I can't
How
wait
do you
for
go
like
about
10
that?
sessions from now when he's like, hey, what's going on, guys? It's good to
Oh
see
my
ya."
goodness.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
So
but
how
yeah,
do you go about that then, number one?
subroutines, information input directly into CPU.
And I'm just the man that might be able to help you. Firstly, though, what I think we need to do is put P0xi together, get all your crap, and then we need to go and load up the ship. The only thing is, see all that stuff over there that they're counting? Well, your man's counting all that coin. We're going to need that. And we're going to need a few other little bits to take with us. Once the old druid upstairs decides to make an appearance, if he can, we need some equipment. We need to go and save some big whales. Space whales. We'll love them. But they're sick. Is that a deal?
It looks at you and it says, query 1 response, or he's gonna go through a number of them. He's gonna go, information 1. Our units do not have digestive cycle, thus no crap to gather. Second, looks over, it says Unit 4, gathering and counting coin. Currently, progress at 49%. It says the equipment can be supplied. Item 4, aid of exopoxy unit secured by Unit Etherith and Unit Apoxy. It says Unit 5, who is man who can provide help to exo units.
Oh, that'll be the captain. Ed George. He's a brilliant man. Brilliant. And if you want some real personality, I would be willing to let you have mine.
It says, it will say, objective noted, extract personality when time permits.
Oh, not that I die or anything. You can take a copy of my brain, scan it, download it.
It says,
Or, or there is another person. Now, Basson, she's a great fighter. Believe you, might be a bit of that. Her brain as a fighter, got to be the best. That's what you need. Bit of cunning, bit of strength.
the robot will say, query, should each unit assign themselves a member of crew of the Dawn's Eclipse for specific personality analyzation?
Maybe there's some that you don't want to have that personality of. We can sort that out on the ship.
Understood. And it will put a hand forth and say, actually, it doesn't put a hand forth. It doesn't know about that convention. It says, deal between exopoxy units and crew of Dawn's Eclipse established. Analyzation of brain will commence. Unknown. And then it will walk away. And it's that's so interesting. The beginning of this game, Bassan commented on my ability to imitate other party members, and now, completely unexpectedly out of left field, we're gonna have specific units emulate specific personalities from the crew. If that's the plan, that's funny. We will look into that. I think Unit 1 will say to you, Ethrith, that they'll say, deal made. P0xi units will accompany Dawn's Eclipse for exploration of the galaxy. Objective 1, serve the captain. Objective 2, aid the crew. Or no, say Objective 1, serve the captain. Objective 2, seek information about Creator and creation. Objective 3, serve the crew.
Understood. Welcome aboard.
I'll be more specific about that because the robot thinks a little bit more than technically than I do. It would say its objectives would be serve the captain, find information about Dr. Brzezinski, understand and analyze advanced unit Apoxy, and then aid the crew, and then it just starts going through a fucking list of real basic side objective bullshit, which is analyze personalities for completion of subroutines, and just a whole bunch of shit, and you're oh, okay. Probably at a certain point. And it will say, before leaving, we would wish for expertise of your party to synchronize with our knowledge base understanding of this installation. 97% chance of important information. Chance missed 67% by exo-poxy units.
Well, number one, I think we will have to go and drag the captain from the ship. Is it okay if we bring our ship right to the gate so it's a little bit easier than sneaking around? We bring the captain here. He's very knowledgeable. He will be able to tell you what's what. Hopefully. He's a very smart man, knows a lot. He'll be on.
It'll say priority of personality emulation 1, Ed Jord. It says indeed bring priority academic individual to installation. Landing pads unknown. In robot, it basically says, "Yeah, fucking bring it, man. Sure, bring your ship around." This is not how my brain works. I am not this
Can't wait for
logistical.
Priority 1 personality scan Ed Jordan, and later on it's just, yeah, man,
Dude.
I'll totally like help and stuff.
So I'm gonna say to Chaplin,
One says help and stuff.
yeah. I'm gonna go and borrow your lion, and then that way I will head off towards the ship on the lion to tell him to come back because we've got no way of communicating at the moment with the ship.
Got it. So you head out. As you head out, a rabbit will doink, 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 bounce by your feet, Solace, at top speed. At this point, Chaplin, the rabbit will like run up to you, 4 individuals, and open its mouth, and Griffin's voice will come out and basically say, on the table back there by that strange fiery metal thing, just grab everything off that table, and we'll just start like telling you what to pick up. And it's a number of strange pieces of equipment. One looks like a strange looking syringe. Another looks like some kind of oddly shaped vial. Another is like, it looks like a piece of alchemy equipment, but a little more technical. And you kind of like start gathering shit. So between you and your IRAT, you are able to gather the equipment required by Griffin.
Okay, rabbit.
And then the rabbit will look around and run away and go back to Griffin. And with that, I think we'll call our... before we close, P0xi, as they're like looking through you and Zalace has walked off and whatever, they'll say, warning, foreign software. And they will say, and they'll just kind of like point to in sort of like in your chest, P0xi, and you kind of like look it down what they're looking at, and you're gonna see that there's like a portion of your what you would know to be like your power core that has like a chunk off of the bottom corner is like off of it, and it seems to have been replaced by some kind of like blackish red material that has like fur on it. And
Black
it seems to
red.
have like almost veins moving up your power core.
That is classified.
Understood, classified. And they will begin resealing up your parts, and that is where we will end the session. But yes, it appears that you seem to have some strange...
I have a tumor!
Yeah, you have like an organic, furry, like, whatever, little piece of something that's like lodged onto the side of your power compartment. And that is where we will end the session. You guys are that went differently than I thought it would.
Hive mind. Were you thinking we were gonna attack them?
I thought they were going to attack you, is what I thought. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I was
Thank you,
totally
Atharet. You
considering
saved
it.
my steel bosom.